Flushing MCs down the loo. If you don't believe me, bring your posse, bring your crew. Feel free to hate, cause I ain't trying to be your mate. Be serious, you wouldn't last an hour in my shoes.
A lot of eye contact here.
It's an Air Force One. Trainers by the truckload, trainers by the ton. Don't be dazed when I catch you by your J's. Chop, best to act like Forrest Gump, best to run. This
Good.
And
terribly episode 23.
That's right, baby.
I need to tell you guys something. I got an email this week from I thought it was spam.
Okay.
Likely.
It was from a website or an email address called podstatus.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Are they recognizing?
Let me read it to you.
Oh.
Hello, how's it going? Hope all is well. I have some cool information that might interest you.
Alhamdulillah.
Your podcast, This Good and Terribly, has good performance in Apple Podcast rankings over the last 30 days.
Jeez, come on.
Position 188 in the category comedy in Denmark, baby.
Don't lie.
That's what's up.
That's what I'm saying.
Out
That's what I'm saying.
Denmark.
Yeah.
The family. Don't have to say it in Danish. But
always
hey,
know.
hey. They say hello that way.
Is that
That's
how they say it?
That's how Scandi
They're
say
like,
hello.
hey.
Hey to my fans in
My
Denmark.
name's Olivia.
We love
I'm
you.
from Stockholm.
188. I mean, who knew? 23 episodes in. That's what it do.
We ranking, baby. Yeah, we'll click ourselves on that one still. Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
This Good and Terribly, episode 23. You are here with man like Abs, man like Johnny, and man like Tommy. What are you, man, saying?
Been very good. Very good. It's been a hell of a 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. What's been going on?
Speculative investments paying off.
Oh.
That's what's been going on.
You put that in the chat, but I still don't know what an NFT is.
I tried to tell you, man, about this a couple of weeks ago.
We'll come back to it. I just don't get it. Johnny, what are you saying, bro?
I'm alright, man. I'm alright. I've been trying to lose some of that holiday timber.
You've lost your holiday tan. What?
I have that. Well, that's why I've had to lose the holiday timber. You can get away with being thick puppy if you've got a tan about you.
Return of the gringo.
But now I've gone gringo. I'm gonna have to get slim and delicious again.
Brother.
Delicious. Yeah.
Delicious. So yes, it's the first time I've done exercise in 2 months because of COVID. Go on holiday.
Nice.
Went to boxing a couple of days ago. Me and my boy, shout out man like winner. So we had a nice little spar, little dance, nothing too dangerous. He caught me with a left hook so bad I did a 360. It was very embarrassing.
But did you take a bath today? Because I hear your people have been having struggles
Yeah,
with that
firstly,
recently.
I've been chastised.
They've been asking you?
For the You People bar previously.
Yep.
So we just have to recognise
No. But
tables turning.
Didn't answer the question though,
Carl
did he?
Cox and that.
Have you bathed?
I had a shower.
Cool, man.
Just before I came.
Why are people not bathing out here, bro?
When you say my people, I'm quite diverse. Can we specify which of my demographics you are referring to?
The majority.
The one that's related to like Jake Gyllenhaal and Coco and all them man there.
Wow, just say it with your chest. If you're saying
I'm
white
saying-
people don't bath,
They are saying, we're not saying shit.
Oh.
You guys are telling us. You're volunteering the information that
white people are
It's a
just
global
podcasting
warming
saying
thing.
we're not bathing.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's for
They're
the
like-
water. I don't
a
know
lot-
if you've heard that it's scarce.
A lot of them are saying we only bath.
Yeah, so-
we only bathe when we figure it be necessary.
Yeah, so it's
when
quite-
I'm dirty, when I've actually rolled in mud.
Yeah, white people are automatically enrolled to Extinction Rebellion. So we.
Oh, shit, is that for real?
Yeah. So we have to save water and that. So
It's a pre-enrollment. You have to like self-exclude yourself.
yeah, it's an opt-out thing. So it's buckets.
Yeah. Crate challenge. Should we just hit that on the head?
Yeah.
Why are you people just jumping on crates? Haha.
Why are people doing this shit and where did it come from?
Come from the hood, cuz. It's some
calling it
some
the
mad
hood.
It's here
American
though.
shit.
It's here
They're
though.
calling it the Hood Olympics, isn't it?
Hood Olympics.
That's what they're calling it, the Hood Olympics. For real.
Where are they getting these crates from?
They're milk crates.
Did you see Walmart started doing
Don't say it
discount
like that. Do
sales
you
on
get milk
crates?
crates delivered
In
to the
America,
West?
That's the way they do it. Especially in like them flyover states.
How much milk
Alabama,
do they get delivered to the
Tennessee, and
house?
These kind of places.
Fuck knows. I think they're just buying crates for this.
Shit.
It's a good market to be in. Can you imagine being a guy who's like a mid-tier crate salesman your entire life, and then suddenly Instagram gives you the boom of your life? You're like, honey, we rich, baby.
Well, if you've read Malcolm Gladwell, you'll know that as long as you put your 10,000 hours in,
Yes.
pre the boom, bro.
But this guy's a chief, yeah. 'cause
Be ready.
He wrote an entire book and built a career on saying that you should be a generalist. It's good to be multi-skilled. In the modern economy, you should be a generalist. And then he's now recently written a subsequent book saying, actually, that one was gash. You should be a specialist if you want to make money in today's world.
I think you've said that before.
Yeah.
on
You
one
don't
of
believe in
previous
growth, yeah?
Well,
episodes.
I don't believe in selling books with contrasting positions.
No, I think he's good. There's a lot of like interesting takeaways from a variety of his different books. I'm sure you
Brilliant.
like him as well, no?
Possibly, but he's a bit of a gas man.
But without further ado,
I wonder if he baths.
Let's get down to business.
because I wanted to see how far we could get into this introduction before she started sending really dirty looks my way.
It wasn't long.
Why am I not involved in this thing? I
wasn't
came
long.
all the way from Stoke Newington, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, your prayers have been answered. It's been 22 episodes of you sliding in our DM saying, why are you talking about all this female stuff without having a female guest on your podcast? The time is now.
It was the only diversity box we hadn't ticked.
For real.
Yeah.
We were doing so well, and truth be told, the verdict's still out as to whether or not we actually need the opposite gender in one of these fucking
Well,
cities.
according to Denmark, we're the 188th funniest podcast.
Exactly. Denmark says that we're doing okay. I'm just saying. But without further ado, we have a very special guest. Previously, some of her accolades include holding positions at the Evening Standard, the Independent, Yahoo UK Lifestyle.
Don't lie.
Kind of like This Kid and Terribly, she covered breaking news, current affairs, fashion,
I can't go much higher.
beauty,
It's now becoming boring.
sports. You gotta hype her up. I can't do this on my own.
She's sports Arsenal.
She's a gooner, yeah.
She's a gooner.
She has been published
gooner.
by the Times, Elle, Red Magazine, Grazia. I'm saying that right? I never knew. Grazia?
Grazia.
Cool. Harper's Bazaar. That's a plush one. That is a
posh one. Primo.
Gal them.
The range.
Don't know.
She's in the range.
Black Ballad, Fort Catalog, and Undo Ordinary. She is the current deputy editor at The Face.
The Face.
magazine.
Face.
The Face. It is Jessica Noah Morgan, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Welcome to This Could End Terribly.
Welcome.
Wow, he really
Sam.
did his
Bienvenido.
research.
I stole it from your LinkedIn. Research.
There's a multi-platform background check.
I was like, he's
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it in
I mean,
CRB check to
Order.
pre up the
you
history.
did the work. I just nabbed it. You got to update your LinkedIn though, by the way. 'cause-
Have I?
Yeah. Because I think, I don't think it puts much about the face in that little blurb that you write
I
about
just
yourself.
started.
Yeah, whatever, man. You know,
Okay.
just
I'll add-
Congratulations
just
on
wear
just
your
starting.
wins. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank you.
to the podcast.
Welcome. Thanks so much for having me. So
What's it like
exciting.
being here?
Whew, I mean, you guys are just full of energy.
Hell yeah.
Lots of smoke.
Yeah.
I feel like the energy that you've brought me since coming here has been a
Vibes
lot.
and that.
Vibes,
Vibes.
but, I feel like we're going to have a lot of differing opinions, which I'm excited
Interesting.
for.
So you're mixed race. Did your white side bath today?
She took half a shower before she came.
I'm proud to say
Johnny's
that my
talking from
white side
experience.
do wash their legs.
All right, please.
They
please.
do wash with flannels.
It as well, oh.
Yes.
Flannels.
I love
They
it.
wash with flannels.
thought
I
that was
wash with a
exclusively-
flannel.
Love
I
it.
scrub my foot, my leg, my back, everything, my bum, my arms, underarms, head.
Just smooth.
Unfortunately, there are people in the white community, Johnny,
Woo!
who don't wash.
Shots fired early.
And that's why they look a bit dusty.
Oh, wow. Dusty Vivas.
Is that what they're claiming was a tan then, is it?
Oh, boy.
That's what.
Oh, Johnny, what's your retort? What's your retort?
She can have that one. Let's just begin the happy.
The first
tan-
one's free.
First one's
First
free.
one.
Tan was just dirt. That's why it came off so quick. Because he, for once, had a bath.
People do resent success. I've heard that.
good.
Nah, she tweaking.
He's just gassed because he went on holiday.
I am, and you didn't. So
That's fine.
yeah, is it?
So what's it like
It's
being on?
actually more, it's better than fine. It's responsible.
Thank you.
So I mean,
We're in a whole panny D, so
100%. So you've clearly achieved a lot in your life right now, and I would say that being on the 188th most popular podcast in Denmark is probably
Popular comedy
a
podcast.
real high
it's a
point.
top
Yeah.
accolade. Right
Where do you
now.
go from here? Let's be honest.
I don't know. This is the top, I think.
Cool.
This is the best accolade I've ever.
pinnacle.
This is really.
Yeah,
This
It's not the first time you've been accused of peaking in your career. To be fair,
Woo! Woo! Energy! Energy!
This is what I'm talking about. Energy.
Yeah.
Johnny comes
All
to
the
me
smoke.
with fuckery.
Johnny's got the rum in the
Nothing to
system.
say really, because what are you doing with your life?
I'm Havana clubbed up, baby.
It's his first drink.
This is really cute. You're hugging up that dinosaur as well. It's really cute. It's mad cute.
For
Yeah.
emotional support, because
It's
he's going to
grounding
get
me.
rinsed
It's grounding me.
today.
It's actually Mental Health
So,
Month.
so Tommy,
Yes.
you've been making some money with investments this week, but I still don't know what an NFT is, and I don't think many people do. So, can you break it down, please? In layman's, what you invested in, what an NFT is, and if you can lend me a $5.
To the moon.
You got the fiver. Don't worry, I got your back on that.
Oh, lovely.
An NFT, as I think we covered on the last couple of pods ago or whatever, is a non-fungible token. Non-fungible means non-interchangeable, basically. So it's not the same as anything else. It's essentially a piece of digital art. If you want to really make it super simple, we're essentially talking about GIFs and JPEGs.
Okay.
Right?
I'm glad someone finally just said that.
Yeah.
because-
Effectively, we're not talking about things that are too dissimilar to that.
Yeah.
But there's a kind of scarcity element to it, which means that not a million JPEGs of the same thing can be created, right? It's like any art. So, like, what makes any piece of art valuable?
Okay, but for example, you put it in the group chat this week.
Yeah.
I own that shit now, technically, no?
Who owns that shit?
Me. It's in my phone. I can save it.
Yeah, you can save the image. Yeah,
Then
but
what
it's like I
happens?
can take a picture of a Picasso and save it on my phone. Doesn't mean I own the Picasso.
Feel you.
Yeah,
but it's
that's
digital.
true.
But it's digital and that's physical.
Yeah, but you can turn digital into physical. If I had a little screen mounted on your wall displaying digital art,
Yeah.
what stops that from being physical?
I feel you. What happened with your painting, your GIF that made it
there's-
10 times this week?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, there was a massive bull run where there was like an inflation of assets, let's say, in the digital space, digital art space. Massive bull run followed by a few months of a bear market where a lot of pieces that were trading at a certain price started trading at half of what it was previously, and now we're re-entering this bull market. So more and more attention is kind of focused on NFTs. We're still super early in its kind of life cycle, so we're still, I mean, if you were to get into NFTs today, you'd definitely be an early adopter. I mean, we're nowhere near entering some kind of critical adoption or a tipping point of any sort. So it's still super early. There's still tons of opportunities. I predict, let's say, in the next coming months and in the beginning of 2022, you'll see more of the celebrities that you're familiar with, more of the brands that you kind of interact with on a daily basis, talking about NFTs and NFT art specifically, right?
Cool.
Because you can have NFTs in different forms, and I guess what we're talking about is NFT art.
Bet. So last time we spoke about the incels and what happened in Plymouth with that lad Jake Davison who ran amok killing people. We uploaded a video clip of our section covering what incels were. Seems pretty fair, right? That's what we do, right? We
What
bring the
incels are in
Yeah,
relation
we-
to, I guess, that Plymouth guy,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The shooter.
We break down the news, we give an opinion, and we keep it moving. But apparently, the incels have been watching us.
We are targeted.
Because when we uploaded the video to YouTube, and I'll be honest, right, we're early doors, right? Our YouTube interaction game isn't that sophisticated.
We
at this
reserve
point.
YouTube for people who are nasty.
Yeah,
We've said
exactly.
that in the past.
Right. Quite a popular post. Noticed that there was something going on when we noticed that this particular post had more views than any of them.
Correct.
In a really short space of time.
Thank God.
Then we started getting littered with a couple of comments from people who were very upset about our views. Your view in particular on Jordan Peterson. And
Oh, yeah.
our views on incels and whether or not they are worthy of a space on Earth. Look,
Don't
man.
say our.
Look.
I'd like to be excluded.
No.
Because I was being educated. I didn't know what an incel
Our
was.
resident
last
incel.
pod.
Our resident incel.
Is back in the war for them, man, and we're about to get into it. Look, buddy. Look, Jeff from I don't know.
There was two
Rotherham.
Jeffs, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So one sent us an educational link to watch of some Turkish guy kicking off about being ugly.
Guys,
That was
I watched a
sus.
bit of that.
Yeah, I watched it too. It
I
was
watched
hella
3
sus.
minutes. I made my way through 3 minutes.
Yeah, I lasted about 9 or 10.
guys,
Better than me.
guys, incel, mandem, yeah? Pick up your game a little bit. Stop blaming the world and women about what's going on in your life.
Amen.
It's not no one's fault but your own.
This is the irony of the whole Jordan Peterson shtick, is that he just goes on constantly about personal responsibility, and yet their ability to get laid is totally women's fault.
Yeah.
Just stop being a loser, and maybe you might get laid. That's just literally it.
As someone
That's
done
literally why it's your
as someone
fault.
who's done journal requests and think pieces this week on the topic of incels, that's the conclusion. Stop.
Oh, have you been
stop
working
being
on
moist.
incels recently?
No, but like, you know, I'm super interested in the topic because obviously in the past this incel topic has been going on for years. You know, I remember maybe like over a year ago when I was working at Refinery, and I listened to this Radio 4
Name
segment of these British incels who'd actually gone to like an expo for incels in Scotland.
Sweet
And
Jesus.
they had like recorded everything that happened there, and basically it was like this massive like event of all these guys who had traveled there to kind of talk about men's rights and women are shit and all this stuff. And I was just like, what? What did we do? Like,
Wild.
you just don't. The thing is, they just don't. It comes from a place of not believing in feminism. So therefore, they believe that when women are asking for feminism, in that messaging, we're thinking, well, men don't matter, and that's not what feminism is. Feminism is equality, essentially. You know,
100%.
no one benefits from the patriarchy. If we live in a feminist world, everyone benefits. But incels look at that, they get very defensive and
Because
start
they're not
saying
benefiting.
exactly, and they're like, actually no, men's rights are more important, women are horrible, and you know, you're kind of like feminazis and all these things. They've just got
Feminazi. Never heard that before.
Have you not?
No, I've
It's a
never
great
heard
bar,
that
to be
before.
fair.
Feminazi. I've literally never
It's
heard
awful. But no, I just feel like these guys are just like losers who literally sit in their bedrooms
How
and just
many people-
complaining
So
about
2
money.
weeks ago when we did this pod, I'd never heard of what an incel was. I'd never come across it. I'd never like. So these guys provided an education as
Yeah.
to what an incel is, and then thankfully this engagement that Richard speaks of on the YouTube provided further education. Right.
Then you
So he
know.
linked us a video. Right. He dropped the video link into the comments. So I clicked through. And the first 2 minutes or the first minute of the video, basically, he's breaking down the triangle. He's like, it's all about height,
Check.
face,
Oh, check.
and ethnicity.
Oh my God, triple threat, baby.
That's what he was saying. And he had this in a triangle thing. And he was like, basically, if you ain't got
if you're
these
not
three
tall
things,
and you're not pretty,
you're struggling.
then you can't get any women,
Okay.
and then it's difficult, isn't it?
I mean,
I like the Mehmet voice.
I get that though. Is
Okay.
that bad?
So we started having an
Because
argument
as
in
a
the
woman-
WhatsApp chat.
We had a mad
We
argument
had an
about it.
argument about it in the chat.
So me and my girlfriends will always say, "What do you call a man that's under 5'10"? A friend." I'm not here to be doing eye to eye with my man. I'm sorry.
Oh my
That's it.
God.
I want to be cricking up my neck. I'm not going to be looking down. And I'm not going to be looking straight ahead in my man's eyes. I cannot do that. And I'm 5'1", so I get away with. I can date everyone. But
But even then,
even then, I don't want no under 5'10" man there.
Yo, no.
Johnny
I'm
sat
sorry.
here hoping the
No,
seat
no, no.
that just eats him up.
It's
I
why
can't
we're-
let this
this
I
ride.
is
said 5'10" and a half.
You're
I'm 5'10" and a
5'7".
half.
This is why I wear Air Force Ones.
That's right.
I
That's
can't. I
right.
can't let this run. How is a 5'1" woman talking about 5'10"
Because I can.
is a friend?
Exactly. Standards. innit?
Because I can.
'Cause I can.
I ain't going to
Yo,
settle.
do these incels have a point?
Nah.
He said it from the beginning. Height, face,
Race
ethnicity.
and
Because the thing is, I want to be able to wear heels.
Feel you.
So if I'm wearing,
How
I
big
don't
are the
know,
9-inch heels.
I was gonna say.
if I'm wearing heels,
Even
I
if
don't want to
she's-
be looking in your eyes.
That's it. If
I
she's
do
busting
not-
6-inch heels,
Thank you.
you still need to have like a
Thank
healthy
you.
difference in
Yeah, but
height.
what
And
kind
I'm
of-
sorry,
what
you
kind
know
of
what? I
man
just
is
want to say, here's a
5'7"
caveat,
though?
you know.
Pure man.
Here's a caveat. I want to say sorry to all the short guys. Like, you will find someone.
Sorry,
I've seen,
Johnny.
no, but
Johnny, I'm sorry, bro.
sorry, but I have seen couples where a guy's like quite short, like my height, 5'1", and then he's found a woman who's like 4'9". That's great.
We're all
That's
nine.
perfect.
We're
all the same height lying down.
Are they in school uniform?
That's paedophilia. What's
Well,
wrong
not
with
if
you?
he's also underage.
Edit.
What kind of grown man is 5'1"? He needs to grow up, bro.
No, but you seem to think that they have a bit of a point.
So what
Because
I
of the
was
world
trying to
that we
say
live
about this
in.
incel things, I don't know much about it, right? What I thought was compelling is that we all know for a fact that the way you look has an impact on how your life goes. And the video that they had posted said something about, or some video that we had been linked to in the comments said something about how you look. I think the title was like how you look impacts every aspect of your life,
Which is just
right?
wild.
So then I tried to think about what are the aspects of our life. Yeah. So if you think you've got kind of a professional career aspect in your life, like one lane, then you have like a social friends and rah lane. Then you have like a relationship lane or like whatever, your partner, your significant other. I stopped thinking at that stage. There might be other lanes in life. But if you think of those 3 lanes, then for sure how you look affects those 3 lanes, right?
How does how you look affect your professional?
Yeah.
So there's like 50% of jobs you can't get if you're butters, basically.
I feel that is true.
That's
actually,
facts. Anything
50%
customer
of
facing,
jobs.
anything customer
That's a
facing,
lot, though.
you can't be hired if you're butters.
the way you look and also your name,
Name's also a good point, but the way you look is even stronger than your name
like
because your name.
tattoos.
Yeah, the way you look, I can see it from a mile off, right? Your name, your personality, how you carry yourself, and all that other stuff. I'll have to meet you. We'll have to have some level of interaction before I can judge that.
Brother, I've
but
met
the
a
way
lot-
you look, I can see that from a mile off.
I've met a lot of CEOs who don't look like Tyson Beckford.
But again, it's not necessarily
Loads.
CEO
Tyson
level,
Beckford.
right? We're talking about.
He's just my twin.
Okay.
You wish.
Very good.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, it's a good
He
thing that
did
this
wish.
isn't
Fucking midget.
a video pod,
Fucking midget over there hyping up. Jesus Christ.
Says the BFG.
I'd rather be
which is how you like him.
Not that tall.
Got him!
I'm not cricking my neck that high.
Jesus, there's a range now, bro.
It's
Fucking
true,
hell.
and this is why these incel men are vexed because they're not in the range.
I don't agree, bro.
No, but this incel from Plymouth, right?
Yeah, no.
I watched the video.
All right, let me just take a quick half step back, right, and say I'm not here for the violence. I'm not here for the.
Moida.
Let's put it this way. There are many when you're disadvantaged in a particular way. There's many ways to react, right? So we were talking a bit about it in the chat in terms of, all you need to do, read a book, get some game, make some money, whatever. There's various ways around your
Game will get you very far,
your
bro.
disadvantages. Whether you want to call it game, whether you want to call it personality, whether you want to call it riches, whatever. There are ways around issues, right? So we're not saying, I'm not here saying the incels are right, the women, no, they should look for butters breads. That's not my argument, right? I'm just saying that their argument of the way you look impacts most of the different aspects of your life.
But I'm looking
makes
at somebody,
sense to me.
But brother, I'm looking at some of these incels who've like killed people or tried to kill people, and like objectively, none of these guys are butters. Like, how many people are actually really, really butters when you think about it? Some people are just average and just need to work with
Let's
the
ask
shit
chick.
that they've got.
Let's ask the lady.
What are you saying?
And this is it. You know, everyone, I've seen really ugly men have a glow up, and it's like, that's great for you. I'm happy for you. That a glow
that's
up
Elon
is.
Musk. That's
it's-
No,
that's
no,
these
no, no.
But
billionaires
it's
who are glowing up.
possible.
I agree.
If I think about some of the incels that I've seen online, physically, they're not ugly. I mean, not my type, but someone's type. But they're not physically ugly. Like,
Yeah. I think the guy who did the thing in Plymouth, like, you look at him, you don't think objectively butters.
he just looks like an average guy
Just
that
an
you
average
walk
dude.
past.
But it's an insecurity.
So what you're
right?
trying to say? It's a confidence thing.
Yeah, it's an insecurity. So
Yeah.
If you,
Absolutely.
Where your looks aren't necessarily top billing, the personality and every other element, your hard work, your character, how you are with people, and all these other elements fill those gaps. To Jessica's point, if you are average but your personality is 10, you're wiping up in comparison to somebody who is a 10 looks wise but has one personality.
And I will say this, in the dating pool, often the really good looking guys have dry personalities.
There you go.
But then you look at the average ones who are funny,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm more likely to go for the average guy because he's a grower, but he's funny, he's got personality. Whereas all the models and all the like crisp cut guys are just boring as fuck.
Done no.
Sure, but the girls still go for him.
No, but they don't.
Love Island literally just showed us that.
But they're so boring.
Sure,
yeah,
but
the
you
girls,
still go for it.
the girls are
I ain't
also
going for
dumb
them.
on Love
Maybe not
Island.
you, but women
So
in,
it's not
in
fair.
general, right?
But it's always like the really good looking boring women go for the really good looking boring men, and then they have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's why it doesn't last.
I think this whole incel shtick is born from an insecurity, and the culture around it is an excuse mechanism. This is what I said last week. There's a there's a very thin line, or a very narrow bridge between people who are incels and people who tend to believe in stuff like white supremacy and nationalism. And it's because just in the same way that blaming people of other ethnicities or people of other countries for your economic oppression or your otherwise less than ideal status in life is due to people from other communities, it's a very easy way of blaming the fact that you don't have either a healthy relationship or any frequent sexual activity on women. And so you are received an ideology that tells you that it's not your fault. It's not your fault, puppy. It's women who have been, who've had their brains riddled by feminism and modern liberal society, which has conditioned women to not be entitled to fuck you.
These guys ultimately want everything on their...
That's why you're not getting any. It's not your fault.
They
it's
ultimately
theirs.
want everything on their own terms as well. Like, they want to live in a world which caters to their awkwardness and to their insecurities. When the reality is, it's survival of the fittest out here. You have to adapt to survive. If you go up to a girl on the street and you chirp her and you're on some weird thing, you're not going to get the number.
Exactly.
So you have to adapt to survive. And these men just want to be on their shit, innit? I want to play Call of Duty 25 hours of the day, 8 days of the week, and then like not know how to speak to somebody, but then be on my freaking emotions when I don't find the woman of my dreams.
Yeah, you
Bro, make it make sense.
get out of the house, go kick ball.
You know what I mean?
That's what it
Anyway.
Fuck the incels. But thanks for the YouTube views, though.
Fuck the incels, join a union.
That's right. Taking 23 episodes, he's finally learning.
OnlyFans.
Oh boy.
OnlyFans.
Talking of unions,
One of the biggest...
Talking about incels.
to be fair, probably a decent customer base.
Anyone who's been rocking with us from the beginning.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. It was
Feminist
probably,
liberation.
It was
was the
probably
title.
episode 1, topic 1 maybe.
Yes.
Where we
Feminist
spoke
liberation.
about
That was
this.
the name
And
of that.
I remember that.
Johnny said it was the closest thing to feminist liberation we have in the 21st century.
Greatest example.
Or greatest example. Bro,
What
just, I
OnlyFans?
mean, whatever. They were in the news this week, as you're probably aware.
Was that a nod of agreement?
I'm processing right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, but what do you believe
What do I believe about OnlyFans?
in terms of his statement? Is it the closest thing to feminist liberation?
The greatest expression of feminist liberation in the 21st century.
Same shit.
That's when you're only assuming that only women use the app.
No, not at all.
Oh, she got him by the balls, baby.
Not at
Because-
all. I know people who know plenty of guys who make a lot of money. That wasn't the point I was making. I don't think there needs to be a masculine liberation in the same context that a feminist liberation is more necessary. So the point I made specifically was that women taking agency of their bodies, being able to monetize that agency, was the purest expression in the 21st century.
In a safe space.
I can hear all the incels.
Looks like you're in agreement. All right, cool. But they were in the news today for other reasons. They started the week by making a huge announcement that they planned on banning sexually explicit content
Oh boy.
on their website.
It's like the Premier League banning football.
Yeah, but were forced to reverse that decision after securing an agreement with its payment processors. Now, let me break it down. To the dismay of its users and creators, they announced that they would be banning adult material from the 1st of October.
Haram.
But those plans have been scrapped. The company said in a tweet, "Thank you to everyone for making your voices heard. We have secured assurances necessary to support our diverse creator community and have suspended the planned October 1st policy change. OnlyFans stands for inclusion, and we will continue to provide a home for all creators." Now, they obviously were forced into a reversal because they had a lot of angry users who had initially blamed OnlyFans for this planned ban. The website, which is owned by a porn mogul, I didn't actually know this, Leo Redvinsky, had long expressed a desire to move
He's from Essex.
Oh yeah? He's from here?
Redvinsky.
I think
he's
he is.
probably one of
He
us.
is, he
Yeah,
is.
anyway, carry on.
Oh yeah.
Gang.
Yeah, tribe. Not quite gang.
Yeah.
That's you people.
Leo had long expressed the desire to move
Literally
beyond
catch that.
adult material to more general interest content, but obviously had to switch it after a couple of days. Then there was this whole wrangle about whether or not it was about the banks who weren't paying them money to transfer
Obviously.
it to the content creators and blah, blah, blah. But basically, they have turned this decision around. What are your thoughts?
It's pretty clear, isn't it? Firstly, the banks were like, well, so we don't want to get sued if we don't want to be on the hook if someone sues OnlyFans for some kind of breach of trust or exploitative practice, etc., etc. So you lot need to come up with a business model where you can do this independent content creation shite that is justifiable for us to keep lending you money, right? And then OnlyFans were like, okay,
Keep
we'll
what?
ban
Lending you money.
Yeah, the banks will keep lending money or finance an IPO or something later down the line, okay? And then OnlyFans were like, okay, fine, so we'll ban the porn so you don't get sued for some kind of nefarious activity. And we'll present you a business plan and we'll come back to you. And then obviously they presented a business plan and the banks have gone, well, fuck, these people can't make any money if there's no sexual activity on OnlyFans. This is fucking pointless. We'll actually just take the risk of being sued and it's probably going to be cheaper than not having any sexual content on OnlyFans. So it's not some kind of charitable or social dispensation being made by OnlyFans to sexual content creators. This is all down to money. They realize that if they don't allow sexual content creators to use the platform, they're just not going to make enough money for their business model
why
to
did
be
they ban
viable. That's why they've done the U-turn.
So why did they ban them in the first place?
Because the banks would have said...
I don't buy that.
Banks
for
said,
a
we're not
second.
getting sued. We're not getting sued.
I don't buy that for a second, mate. Shall I tell you why?
Go on then.
Because I can use my credit card to sign up to Pornhub. I can use a credit card to sign up to fucking all the porn underneath the sun.
So the reason you're wrong is because even Pornhub have gone through a rigorous
How'd you find that out?
Sure. This
Twitter
was in
and
the
that, innit?
headlines. This
But
was big
that-
news.
Yeah, so
This is big news.
there was a channel that was taken off because apparently some of the girls had been given weed or had been given booze, etc., and that got Pornhub into a lot of trouble for uploading that channel's content. So now independent users need to be verified and channels had to be verified. So that's a false
That's for
equivalence.
Pornhub. No, it's
That's
not.
a false equivalence.
It's not at all.
You can't
So
secure
we'll
financing
let
if there's
it
a
go.
risk of being sued.
We'll let Jess go.
Yeah, because
obviously
Jess,
she has a
you
female
were
opinion
actually
on this,
looking
but-
for people to speak to about this week for an article at The Face, right?
I was.
Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, when OnlyFans announced this ridiculous banning, I was speaking to sex workers across the country who have been using OnlyFans since day dot, which, by the way, OnlyFans was initially created to be a sex platform for explicit content. That was their whole branding. And, at the time, a lot of the sex workers were saying, well, we haven't heard anything directly from OnlyFans, so we're not going to kind of worry too much. However, they haven't told us anything, so they've left us in the dark because basically OnlyFans hadn't actually published a public statement. They'd only been kind of talking to Bloomberg and BBC, etc. But then it kind of started trickling out and OnlyFans created a statement about it. And then I received the press release from OnlyFans, which was basically bullshit. It was saying all the banks were pressuring them because they didn't want to be involved with sex work, etc. But firstly, the first thing that I thought about when I read that was, okay, the banks are probably worried because I think like a few months ago or in the last 6 months, OnlyFans had a problem with underage people using the app for sexual explicit content, and they had an issue with kind of like verifying ages. So that is obviously a big red flag for
Shout
any
out
kind
Bad
of
Baby. Or Bad Barbie. Whatever.
Oh, she's 18 now.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So people waited till she turned 18 and then she had like 1 million subscribers.
she's
by
wild.
I mean,
October
that's
1.
She
still a
waited
bit
till
wrong
she was
anyway.
18 before
Yeah,
she
yeah,
joined the
she's
platform.
wild.
But you're
People
18.
waited.
You're 18. Fair dues, fair game, innit?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's your body. That's what you want to do. However, obviously, I understand lenders being worried. But when I spoke to some of the sex workers about this, they actually have issues, having like creating bank accounts. So say like, I don't know, various different lenders will refuse to pay out X, Y, or someone like PayPal or whatever will refuse to pay out money to sex workers because they know that they're sex workers.
Yeah.
So they don't want to be involved.
It's like ESG and all that
Exactly.
shit. Yeah,
so their
yeah.
accounts get shut down. So then, they will get paid through PayPal, or some of the women that I've been speaking to have been getting paid through cryptocurrency,
Yeah,
which is a much
that's the next
safer way
step.
to do it. And that is the next step.
That's the next step.
But it just seemed like a bullshit thing because they also told me that sex workers, OnlyFans takes away 20% of their earnings as opposed to 5% for normal creators. So obviously OnlyFans, their profits are coming from sex workers. So it was very, very hilarious that they did a massive like U-turn because obviously that's where their money's coming
Money
from.
talks.
I think when OnlyFans
Money
started
talks.
and when they were like in beta and they were launching a product and stuff, I think their vision for it may, with what you were saying about the sex workers, may have been essentially like a kind of a Patreon of sorts, right? Where they're trying to get people on and users can directly interact with whoever the content creator is. But obviously, once it kind of took off, it was the sex workers who really helped balloon it to 130 million followers, subscribers,
Obviously.
right? So it was not, I mean, their success was built on the back of
Sex workers.
of sex workers. There's no doubt about that, right? But the argument that they tried to push as to the banks giving us some problems in paying and making payments and stuff, I don't buy it at all, right? Your point about YouPorn and Pornhub or whatever, these porn sites, storm in a teacup. Visa, MasterCard allowed people to make payments on pornographic websites for 10 years and then suspended it for a month. And then after an apparent cleanup, let them go again, right? So I wouldn't say, yes, you could argue that finding funding from new investors into the business when they're trying to scale up to the next level of growth would have been difficult without pivoting away from pornography. Fair, you can make that argument. But the argument that they tried to advance as to, it's the payment gateways that are forcing us to do this is bullshit. And it's bullshit because they reversed it 48 hours later and the payment gateways are still intact, right? And the final point, to Jess's point, is crypto is where this is going to go next, right? We were talking about NFTs earlier and it's all about decentralization, right? When you live in a world where the whole ecosystem isn't being controlled by one firm, whether that's Facebook or Google or OnlyFans in this example, when you have a decentralized system, then there isn't anyone to switch it off.
Feel you.
The CEO can't wake up tomorrow and say, yeah, no more of this, right? It's impossible.
There are actually coins for this. There's one in particular called Cum Rockets, which I'm thinking about buying.
What?
But it's
There
a crypto coin for buying porn in
Yeah.
particular. That's its utility.
Could have been a better name.
I know.
I mean, could it be? Hold on.
It does exactly
Hold on.
what it says in the
Could
tin,
there
but
be
in a
better
bad
name?
way.
I think Cum Rockets is about as good a fucking name for a
Sometimes-
crypto as you can get.
Yeah, sometimes it does what it says on the tin a bit too well.
Ronsil.
Ronsil.
You know what I
Calm
mean?
one.
Done now.
The difference when you talk about, spending money through, say, YouPorn or Pornhub is that you're actually paying a company.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're paying through OnlyFans, that money goes directly to a sex worker because you're subscribing to a particular person, which is why it doesn't really, you can't really draw that comparison, because if OnlyFans is banning, sexual explicit content, like that money does not go straight to the sex worker now. And that was what was so great about the OnlyFans model, was that you can actually subscribe in a Patreon kind of model, subscribe to a particular person, and that money obviously gets funneled through OnlyFans, but it goes straight to that person's bank account. The issue is that a lot of the sex workers' bank accounts are being blocked because the banks, I don't know how the kind of like sign up agreement is, you have to say what your occupation is. Exactly. So like that's the issue.
Yeah.
It's also pretty sus because some geezer from PayPal's obviously subscribed to like Lisa Snow's video and be like, well, she's pretty fit, but fuck, I actually can't pay her this month.
Which living celebrity, no one bait, but which living celebrity would take you to OnlyFans to subscribe?
Ooh, what a question.
Ooh.
That is a great question.
I'm going to go with Anne Widdecombe.
What? That's fucking disgusting.
You're disgusting.
I've just got a thing for weakest link.
Oh my god, that's
That's not
disgusting.
Anne
bro.
Widdecombe.
That's the best you
It
can
is
do.
Anne Widdecombe's the conservative.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, snap. Wait, who's weakest link?
Anne Robertson.
That's the one.
Robinson.
Same shit, innit?
Anne Widdecombe's, but that's the one from
Anne
Big
Widdecombe
Brother.
is-
Anne Robertson's a lot more paying in it. That's what
Don't
I meant.
worry, brother.
A lot more
like,
paying.
like each to their own.
This
No,
man
no,
is
who-
sick.
Who would I go
Sick.
for? Who would I go for?
Sick.
Well, that's
No,
what OnlyFans are for. Specific fetishes
Yes,
like this.
that's
bro.
right. I am her weakest link. I'd say my first crush was Halle Berry. I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably
You
I'd
go,
stay
Berry.
you
loyal.
go for Halle.
I'm loyal, babe.
Halle Berry.
Who would you go to OnlyFans for?
Who would
I'm assuming you don't have a subscription already.
I don't actually.
Who would take you there?
I almost signed up for one last year
Who was it?
for myself
Oh.
because I was like, fuck it.
Hell
Might as
yeah,
well,
Pandy.
100%.
I was like, why the fuck not?
It's a
But then I was
pandy.
also like, I'm a public figure. I can't do that.
No, but not really though, right? At the same time, because like I think
just
there's a
wanna
lot
sell
of
my
content
panties.
there that's not sexual, right?
Yeah,
So
just
there's
like-
a lot of
like
chat
toes
about
and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's fetish stuff,
Yeah.
right? But there's also like a lot of like, I guess the kind of shit that you'd see on someone's Instagram story. You know what I mean? Where it's not something that you want to post on your feed, but something that you're happy to share as a story. That shit is essentially just being moved onto OnlyFans, and people are just seeing a revenue stream as a result of it, right?
Yeah.
But how do you compete with the people that are literally like selling foot and knickers and pants
There's
and all
something
that
for
stuff?
everyone, right? So sometimes people don't want to see people fucking, or you may not have a particular. You might have a 5 foot, a small girl fetish,
So I
or you might have no. But for real, this is a big old world.
I know a girl who's quite well established on OnlyFans. Went to school, and I've been discussing, hoping to get her on the pod at some point. But she doesn't. Well, I guess she maybe kind of does. But her focus on OnlyFans is more holistic and therapeutic, and that's also a subgenre that's quite popular. There's maybe a sexual angle to it because she's an attractive woman. But it's not. She's not fucking people on OnlyFans, and so there is a world outside the
Exactly,
explicit
yeah.
porn space.
interesting.
Even though the people are attractive and there is some sexual energy to it, it's not just for fucking people. It's not just a porn platform. But
Don't
before
know.
we skip this section, I had to say, Halle Berry, you might need to put your names into the ring.
Yeah, Halle Berry's a bait one. I just feel like if I
It
say
is a bit bait,
Yeah, if
yeah,
I say
yeah.
something like that, we just feel so dated.
Yeah,
Halle
yeah.
Berry's
I'm gonna
probably
say
like.
Damson Idris.
Damson
Yeah.
Idris.
Damson
Idris,
Idris would
yeah.
get it
Feel me.
everywhere in every hole.
I thought she was gonna say every room. No, every
Every
hole.
hole.
Every hole.
All over the house.
All over the house. Shit. Who
Maya
would take
Jama's
me?
pretty hot.
Oh shit.
That is the
Maya
ultimate
Jama's
bait
pretty
one.
hot.
That's the
I'd run
ultimate
with
bait
that.
one.
Yeah,
That
Maya
is quite
Jama.
bait.
Maya Jama will
So
catch.
bait.
Will catch
Basically, like a 21st century Halle
Yeah.
Berry, basically.
She'd catch my $18.99 a month for sure. Yeah,
Premium subscription.
yeah, 100%. Her or like Georgia.
You're obsessed
Also
with Georgia
babe.
Smith.
I'm not though, but she's wonderful.
She did a video in Peckham and now
But
I
they
love
basically
her.
Yeah,
look
exactly.
fairly similar as well.
Oh, you know,
anyway.
I might actually like subscribe to that. You know, that Shannon who got kicked out of Love Island like with day 2. See what the fuss is
Yeah,
about.
So if you had
that.
to subscribe to one Love Island girl, if they joined OnlyFans, so let's assume we're living in a universe where every single one of them joined OnlyFans. Who you join? Who you?
Faye.
Oh my
So you're
days.
giving
No
away.
abusive
way. Are you
one.
serious?
Wow.
What?
I just want to see the
just threw up
I
in
just
my
want to
mouth.
see how she does the whole lipstick thing like in slow mo. I just
brown-
want to see. I just want to see how
Brown lipstick application.
lips-
because that's
her
like
lips are-
fine art.
Her lips
going on over
are
there.
Her lips are
like
sauce.
rubber duck. I don't
Crazy.
know what they are,
Crazy.
but they
I would get OnlyFans if someone got a sewing needle and popped her top lip.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
pay $89
That's
to
abuse.
watch that.
That's abusive. But anyway, yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, look. Last question on this, just for you. Do you think that on the subject of like ESG and like companies feeling like they have this responsibility to remove themselves or disassociate themselves from the sex industry, do you think that we're going to find that this is revisited and that more and more companies, more and more banks more specifically, pull their money out of companies like OnlyFans?
Definitely. I feel
Yeah.
that I think people underestimate this country. Like, people often assume that we're a very liberal country and actually we're a very conservative country. And so it doesn't shock me that this has actually happened, and the banks are pulling the money out and they're a little bit kind of like, oh, a little bit scared because sex work.
Yeah.
But the reality is sex sells, and you know, above porn and above the things that we watch on our TV screens, these are people's livelihoods, and and for some women and for some people that are on these apps or out on the streets, this is their livelihood, and this is how they feed themselves. So you know, it's an occupation and we have to respect that, and we also have to make it a safe space. And I feel like OnlyFans was a safe space and is a safe space, if they continue, for people to do their work safely without putting themselves at risk. And I think these companies that are pulling out, I think, will eventually come to the realization that there's a lot of money here to be made.
Yeah.
And once they have that realization, they'll come back.
Yeah. For
I
real.
think we should watch the OnlyFans subscriber growth very closely in the next 2 or 3 quarters.
I think we should jump on there.
No, I think the opposite.
Are they
I think
public?
we'll see. They're not
Not
public
yet.
yet.
They're not public yet.
They're not public yet. But
No, I mean-
they'll release some numbers, quarterly numbers when they release.
I meant that we should sign up.
show.
I'm happy
these
to
numbers.
contribute to the
take-
user growth.
I do toes.
Yeah, I'm not into the
You
foot
can-
thing.
you
You
can
man are
do-
into that foot thing. I'm
You
not
can
into
do
it.
what's
Who's
that
you,
called?
man, bro?
ASMR. You can do that.
Is that your
ASMR.
fetish, foot?
No.
What's ASMR?
I appreciate like some nice toes and that, but it's not like a fetish.
What would be your fetish going around the table? Like,
Small
what would be
girls.
your thing?
Small girls.
Small girls.
Interesting.
I don't have a fetish, man. I do missionary.
You're boring. What?
I like cuddles.
Strong.
Oh, he's asexual.
We actually had a segment on that.
Small spoon if you're nasty.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite a fan of being small spoon.
Oh, I've never
It's
understood
comfortable.
that.
It's
One of my
comfortable.
boys
Who
in
you
Dubai
dating?
was
6'4"
saying the same
women?
thing.
Don't worry
small
about
spoon
that.
thing.
Death by snooze.
What is that about, bro?
Yo, a 6'4" small spoon is
Can you
fucking
imagine?
disgusting.
Bro, I can't ever imagine being small spoon. Like, literally, I've had this debate with one of my boys in Dubai.
It's like having a backpack.
He loves small spoon. What the fuck's that about?
It's lit.
He's like a grown man.
Like, no, but some men have a baby complex.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because some men like the breasts because they like to be sucking on their mum's
actually
breast.
said like the breasts.
But the breast is on your back if you're small spoon.
No, but it's like that womanly maternal feeling. Like, some men like that.
So you get into that, like, what do
I
they
can
call
see
that
that,
position?
though.
That
They
baby,
do.
That
the
baby
fetal,
complex, yeah.
the fetal position.
Yeah,
Do you know?
knees-
Because
knees up, you're wasting
there's
your
some
time.
fetishes out there where men are like, you know, sucking on their thumb and asking their women to put them in diapers. That is a
What
whole
would you
fetish.
do if you got into bed and your new boyfriend wanted to be
Your-
small spoon?
your
I would walk the
5'10"
fuck
man.
out the room.
Especially that. Oh yeah, exactly. Because she's gone 5'10" plus. So like you got a 6'4" Don in your bed, and he wants to be small spoon.
No, he's too tall. There's a range.
Oh,
It's,
yeah,
it's,
there was a
it's
range.
5'10" to
feel like-
6'1".
Thank
I just
There
feel
is a
like
range.
it's very, very rude of somebody who is 5'1" trying to take all of the tall men out of the general population. If you're a 5'8/9" woman and Jessica Noah Morgan's like sweeping up all of the 6 foot plus men. What the fuck are you meant to do? 5'1", you should be going for 5'5" tops.
Nah.
And be happy that God gave you the options.
5'5".
God forbid.
Nah, 5'5". Actually, that actually makes me want to like gag. So a couple of years ago, that actually made me want to gag. I could never. Like when some guy's like, oh, I'm like 5'8" on their dating profile, I'm just like, bye.
How
block.
often do guys lie about their date on their profile?
You know what? Often.
About their what?
About their height on their profile, sorry.
You know, it's often it's always the guys that are like 5'10", but they put 6 foot, and then you meet them, and you're like,
There's one of them
I know
in
you're
this
not
room.
6 foot.
There's one of them in this room.
But
Wait.
how do they think that's gonna go?
Yeah, surely
Like-
you can't actually just...
Like you can't lie about that stuff because
Can.
we're gonna
No,
meet.
because she turns up and then
No, but the
she's
thing
like,
is,
but you're not 6
they
foot.
think we can't
You
tell
can't
the
tell.
difference. Because
You
my
can't.
dad is 6 foot, so I
Okay.
know where my head should be sitting by his shoulders. I know. So
Fair,
when this man
fair,
is
fair.
literally by my elbow, we have problems.
Shit.
To be fair, if I was 5'10", which obviously I'm not, but if I was, then
I'd be less of a man.
no, but I would also front. I'd be like, yeah, I'm 6 foot, and then like you said, bust Air Force Ones aside. She can't tell. Like in Air Force Ones, you'd be
Definitely
like
not 5'1".
5'11" and a half. Do you know what I mean? Like, come, babe.
Yo, no, for real, Mandem. If you want a list of sneakers that'll give you a couple extra inches, holler at me. I'm a pro at this.
Yeah. And also, die with the lie. If she tries to call you out, be like, nah, babes, I'm 189 centimeters.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Only take off the Air Force Ones when she takes off her heels. She'll never notice.
It's funny. It's funny you say this because I was swiping through TikTok the other day. You know those like adverts that come up,
Yeah.
and there was a genuine advert that I could not save. Have you seen it?
The height one.
The height one.
I saw it on
With
Instagram today.
With the guy who's
White
like,
guy in the kitchen or some shit.
yes, you've seen
What's
it.
this?
What's
It's
this?
so
What's this?
weird.
What's this?
And that, you know what? I was actually like, is there a piece in this?
What's the advert?
Basically, the advert is a white guy's in the kitchen and he's like wearing shoes and he's like 4 foot or something. He's small. And then he basically has this like insert to put in his trainer,
Yeah.
which makes him 6 foot.
Yeah.
From 4 foot.
Well, not 4 foot, but like probably like 5'6".
Anything
Okay.
under
To
5'10"
6 foot.
is 4 foot for Jen.
It's true.
So short to tall. So
Okay.
now he's now tall. And I'm thinking, what kind of scam is this?
And what was it?
Are men walking around London with this insole in their foot?
And it's just an insole that goes in your trainer.
You just put it in your trainer and
What,
it makes you 6 foot tall.
and you pump it up or something.
No, it's just you place it in like an insole and it makes you tall.
Just what website can you buy this from?
You're the type of person that lies on your dating app.
Jeez.
What are you, like 5'8"?
Whoa.
Wow, you are right. Yeah, you got a great judge of height.
Thank you. Thank you.
She got the eye for this.
Very good.
How does one segue from OnlyFans and Johnny's vertical challenges to Afghanistan?
Well, it's
shit.
just one lot of people getting fucked on camera for another, really, isn't it?
Bloop.
Jump right in.
There's also probably vertically challenged man in Afghanistan too.
Probably still.
Bro, if you lack imagination, there's many ways to bridge this.
Yeah. Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Very good.
Let's jump right in, man. The troops got withdrawn in what can only be described as a ridiculously hasty way, and the Taliban are back.
Baby.
They're back, baby. Yeah. So this is bleak. This is bleak in 150 million different ways. First things first, thoughts with the Afghan people who, having already survived 20 years
100%.
of shit, are now entering a new era
Shout out my brethren Nabila, man. Love you.
of
Facts.
shit. Shout out all the Afghan expats
Facts.
across Europe and the world who have left, are leaving family behind to God knows
It's
what's
funny
coming.
how no one refers to them as expats, isn't it?
Yeah, they're
Well, they're
always
immigrants, aren't they? This,
refugees,
this is
aren't
this is what Akala's point was, that white people are expats and
Yeah.
everyone else is an immigrant, right?
they? I hate that.
Thoughts also with, you can have your views, and there's been a lot of shit Twitter takes from mainly lefties about soldiers who served in Afghanistan being agents of imperialism. I've not really got a lot of chuck with that. Thoughts also with a lot of scarred service people who joined the army or the navy or the RAF for various reasons, depending on their socioeconomic background, the opportunities available to them in life, who've come back, if they're fortunate enough to have come back from Afghanistan scarred by conflict, physically or mentally. My brother served in Afghanistan. He knew people who died out there. he knew people who took their own lives when they got back, such as the horror of war. And it's something that people in the West like to write about, like to play war games with, like to sensationalize and visualize. But really, it's very comfortable and very easy writing for magazines and newspapers about the horrors of war without ever having to experience it when you've got people of lower socioeconomic class who do your fighting for you.
Don't know.
Joe Biden came out with a speech
Yeah.
announcing the withdrawal, and the first thing he said at the beginning of the speech was that it was never America's intention to do a nation-building exercise in Afghanistan. It's an abhorrent statement, again, for 100 different reasons. I've been reading a book called Directorate S, I think, which is all about the CIA's campaign of influence in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Everyone who knows, or who's listened to this, knows that I recommend frequently people read Devil's Chessboard, which is another book about the history of the CIA from Dulles through to the modern era and their influence as a shadow government in the US. But really what the CIA did in laying the groundwork post 9/11 for war in Afghanistan is abhorrent. And the idea that Afghanistan was invaded en masse when the US were effectively trying to capture what was an enemy combatant group of the Afghan government or the Afghan people at the time, based across the Pakistani border, being supported by Pakistani intelligence, it never made any sense to start with. They purportedly went to Afghanistan to find Al-Qaeda, who were kind of, you can make the case that they were being harbored by the Taliban government. The Taliban is quite literally an influential body created by the Pakistani security services, so that the Pashtun community of Afghanistan would be pro-Pakistani in their sympathies, politically speaking. Yeah. So an operation is the exact same thing as having funded the Mujahideen following the Soviet conflict in the 90s. These are American imperialist ventures that eventually bit the hand that fed them. And for the Americans, for the imperialists to walk out 20 years later saying that it was never our intention to build this nation up, it's totally wrong, totally abhorrent. It was explicitly their intention. They could have taken Al-Qaeda out in the east of Afghanistan without invading the rest of the country. They put political actors in, from Hamid Karzai to various following presidents, that served with the intention of propagating American interests, while they effectively abandoned the campaign in Afghanistan to go and invade Iraq because there were more usable assets there than there were in Afghanistan. Like I said, for America to later say that their intention was never to support or build an Afghan nation basically speaks to the vacuous nature of modern Western neo-imperialism, that it feels entitled to walk through a country, bomb it to shit, and then leave without taking any responsibility for what it leaves behind.
100%.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much there is to say beyond it's fucking awful. Nobody wins. Nobody's won here. America hasn't secured Afghanistan in its bizarre neo-imperialist vision. Afghanistan is not in a safer place.
People have won. He said no one's won. Bear Man have won.
Okay, yeah, all right, fine. Halliburton have won, and the defense contractors have won, etc., etc. But the vast majority of people have lost. It's not a safer place than it was 20 years ago. The Taliban are back, and they're back in a more aggressive form.
I have no idea what just happened.
That was kind of mad chat.
Yeah.
The Taliban are back, and they're back in a more aggressive form. Rather than having a weakened Al-Qaeda as the kind of operative force of a Taliban government, there's now a new form of ISIS that have taken over, who are even more aggressive and are responsible for these bombings that we've seen at Kabul airport. The political situation is no clearer. The security situation is no clearer. And the West is no safer. America is no safer. Britain is no safer for having abandoned its responsibilities in Afghanistan, because the reason they went in last time, that it was allegedly a breeding ground for terror, which was tenuous at best.
Do you think
it's
less
now
of a
likely
breeding
to become a breeding ground for terror again?
Do you think it's less of a breeding ground?
Now?
Yeah.
No, not for the pullout. Not for the pullout, because for a very minimal NATO.
Do you think it's less of a threat? So they went into Afghanistan because the argument was it's a breeding ground for terror that's ultimately going to come and attack us. Do you believe that today that breeding ground is less or the same as it was when they went in 2001?
It's at best the same. At best the same. Give it 2 months, because the Taliban are now back in control.
I don't agree, actually.
Absolutely not. It's clearly not true, right?
I don't agree.
Please.
Because 20 years ago, we didn't have an influx of technology that could actually, we've got members of the Taliban now who are using smartphones to connect with each other.
They had satellite phones.
But we did not have that 20 years ago.
They did. They had satellite phones.
They did not have that 20 years ago.
They did.
But carry
Not
on.
in the same way. They didn't use social media in the same way.
I agree on that. The propaganda game was weaker.
It is so much more different and more dangerous now because they're able to actually operate, underground. They were able to operate underground back then, but the technology that they've got now is so far advanced that it's actually more dangerous,
So
in my opinion.
That's what I said.
I
I
think
said it's
the
at least
the
more
technology
dangerous.
point is interesting.
They're
Going
using
back
it
to your
so much
point
more
about
differently.
how poorly the evacuation was handled.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Cool. The technology ties into that. The Taliban now has access to weaponry that was essentially abandoned by
Definitely.
allied forces.
They've got $8 billion worth of gear that they just
Exactly.
picked up.
Fine. So the technology point we can take on board. But is the country less of a breeding ground for terror? The answer can only be yes. Right?
Why?
Of course the Taliban have spent 20 years living in a fucking, I don't know what the right word for it is, but in a hole, basically, being bombed and depleted or whatever for the last 20 years. So there's no way we can argue that the Taliban today is stronger than it was when the US entered.
They have more of an axe to grind now.
It's also impossible to argue that ISIS-K, this new terrorist organization, is of any real consequence. It's not. Every analyst says it's not.
They just killed 60 Afghan civilians
Yeah,
at the
anyone
airport.
could send a guy with a fucking suicide belt, a vest on to some. But as a body, they are. You can read any analysis. You can listen to anyone speaking on this. They all concur. Like they spent the last 2 years murking off these ISIS-K. They're a sworn enemy of the Taliban. They're a sworn enemy of the allied forces. Everyone's been murking them, right? You have the Afghan Secret Service who compiling intelligence, passing it on to the Americans who just drone the shit out of it, right? And what we've learned is, and going back to what you were saying about the Afghan people who haven't had a good time, what we've learned is that the US and the drone strikes was all one big fuckery. So we were told that drone strikes were targeted killings. We'd specifically target the person we're looking for and we murk that guy, right?
They lied.
What we've learned in the last few weeks is that was all crap, right? At the moment, or they had historically authorization to do these drone strikes and double tap drone strikes when they didn't require authorization, when there was like less than 7 civilians that would get injured, right? That means you didn't have to run it up through the pole to get authorization to do this. If there were 6 kids, if you're trying to get that target, right? That's catch. If there's 7 or 8 kids, then we'd have to kind of call up and see if we can do it. Afghanistan was the most droned country in the world, right? So yes, I think personally, when you look at the last 20 years, it's all about perspective, right? It's all about perspective. I read something that said like in 2004, the Taliban, after getting murked off by the US in the initial invasion, basically, which is the only part of this whole exercise, I guess the US did pretty well. The Taliban offered to destroy all their weapons, hand in their weapons, and participate in the kind of peace process, right? Which was ultimately rejected by the Bush administration, which historically now is a bad decision, right? But if that was the case, then these Taliban men that we're all switching out about right now would just be any other international actor where we have a marriage of convenience. There'd be no difference to the Saudis. There'd be no different to what's going on in Pakistan. There'd be no different to all of these other organizations. And now that they've come in and regained control, that's what we're going to see. There's no way that you think now that the US or the UK or the G7 are not going to be working with these Taliban men, right? So for me, it's all about perspective. The US, the UK is rushing to leave. China and Russia, not a single person has been evacuated. China's just prepared 8,000 peacekeepers to come into the country, right?
Of course, it's an influence game.
It's a perspective thing, right?
Yeah.
So perspective in terms of who won, defense contractors and a massive industry in the US made a lot of money. But now China's waiting to include these fuckers into the Belt and Roads Initiative. And this is going to be a big boon for Afghanistan. This is going to be China coming in and building infrastructure like there's no tomorrow. And essentially taking minerals from underground and
Trillions
shipping them back
of lithium, isn't it?
to lithium, and there's all types of shit,
Yeah.
and shipping that back to that Belt and Road Initiative. Afghanistan was, if you look at the map of how they wanted to do this Belt and Roads through the Middle East into Africa and Afghanistan was the only missing piece.
It's the old Silk Road, right?
Sorry?
The old Silk Road. Peter
Exactly. The
Frankenheimer's
Belt and Road
book,
Initiative
everyone
is what
should
they
read
call
it,
it.
the Silk Road.
So realistically, we sat here in London reading newspapers and reading CNN or whatever, and it sounds like, oh yeah, all of our interests are murked off. But It's perspective. If you're sat in Afghanistan, you're happy for these men to leave because they just spent 20 years bombing the shit out of you.
Exactly.
You've had these military contractors committing all types of atrocities in the country that we've seen, documented. No one gives a fuck about here in the West. Then you've got the Chinese there, like, don't worry about these guys. We're waiting to offer you $25 billion worth of loans straight off the bat or whatever. So, yeah, we sat here and we think, yeah, Afghanistan, what a terrible job. But I think in Afghanistan, people are, let's say, not as sad as the media paints as us.
Jesus Christ. I don't know how you can make a claim like that when there's videos of hundreds, if not thousands of people desperate and clinging onto planes to escape at Kabul airport. Thousands and thousands of more trying to escape to the Pakistani border. The wider point that I want to make, and that I was trying to make, was that this basically calls into question the entire premise of liberal intervention. We went into Afghanistan with the explicit aim of making it less dangerous from the perspective of creating a democratic society. And we spent 20 years bombing civilians. We killed 60,000 innocent people so that girls could go to school and there would be democratic elections, etc. And as the going got tough and as people thought that it was maybe starting to get a little bit expensive, we've totally given up that progress. And we've now sold all these women and girls. We've sold all these women and girls back into the arms of what is effectively going to be an oppressive regime. We've left our own allies, our soldiers, translators, NGO workers, we've left these people without papers to get themselves to refuge. What was the point of bombing all these civilians and dominating country for 20 years if we're just going to give up eventually?
Amen.
Can I ask you, so you agree with Tony Blair then? That's what his position is.
Yeah,
exactly what you said. We should leave 2,000, 3,000 troops there forever. Do you agree with that?
I don't necessarily think you need to leave them forever if you do the job properly.
What's doing the job properly? They tried to do the job properly. They pumped $2-3 trillion into it. What? Look, if your argument is that the exercise of nation building we found to be false, cool. We all agree with that. That's all bullshit. You can't go into another country, a country you really don't understand, and try to export some form of culture that you have in your country. Cool. We're all on the same page on that. But what's your argument? Your argument is they should still be there now.
The argument is that the objective was supposedly to eradicate the Taliban. That isn't a particularly difficult objective. It's hard to find them, but the CIA and MI6 are capable enough of finding them. But they had Bin Laden in Tora Bora rather. They had these people found, so we found them, and we can do that job. If the objective was to get rid of Al Qaeda and Taliban, that's very easily done. We didn't follow through on that because it was more profitable, it was more useful to have Afghanistan in a state of flux. It justified private contractors staying in there. It's a good tax earner. Private interest made a lot of money out of it. There was never.
But what's your point? What's your point about leaving?
The point was that we should keep
about leaving. I mean, should we leave or should we have not left?
We should have kept a minimal force to maintain security.
So it's Tony Blair's bar. That's exactly what Tony Blair's arguing.
And you don't agree with that?
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm trying to clarify his position because you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, my view is that we shouldn't have thrown away 20 years of work.
So you think we should still stay?
Yes.
So your argument isn't one that we should leave in a more properly planned manner, like that Biden rushed it by giving us 2 weeks
I think he did
or
rush
whatever.
It. We should set up to leave when we can leave. At the moment, it's not appropriate to leave.
But that's indefinite then, right?
But it's
that's
not indefinite,
effectively
not if you do the
indefinite.
job properly.
You're arguing that until we're able to export this idea of democracy that they've been trying to do for 20 years, we should stay.
Democracy,
Tony
whatever
Blair
it is.
said that with a troop of 2,500 Americans, 1,000 Brits, and whatever else, some condensed smaller force, that we haven't seen any deaths on our side, and we could carry on making the inroads to the Afghanistan of the future that we want to see. That's what you're parrying.
Having created instability, it's our job to maintain it, and we can't just surrender security because it's not convenient for us.
So I actually remember the very day when the war was announced. I think I was like 10 years old at primary school, and Tony Blair was Prime Minister, and I wrote to him. I was like, can you come to my school? I was a staunch my parents were staunch Labour supporters back then. But, we know now, even 5-10 years after, that the reason why we went to Afghanistan was based on lies. And to deep that, even now, at 28 now that we're coming out of it, looking at the destruction that we have caused from the West, I'm not surprised if it is now more like a breeding ground for terror. We've caused that.
There's no terror left.
We have literally gone into a country under false pretenses.
That's all Iraq. That's not Afghanistan.
It doesn't matter.
It is
Iraq was
Afghanistan.
false pretenses. Iraq was when they said we
Both.
had weapons of mass destruction.
Both.
and all that.
Afghanistan was false pretenses as well.
Both.
What was the false
Because
pretense? They said that's where Osama bin Laden is.
the issue with us going into those countries is no different from colonialism and going and thinking that we can
Agreed.
fix a problem.
Agreed.
We don't know anything about them. So
Agreed.
why do we feel, and this is what I hate about us, and I say us because I'm not part of this, and I hate the fact that this country in the West seems to think that we're better than everyone else, and we need to go into these countries and fix up their political landscape and do this. And all we've done is broken up families. We have caused deaths, unnecessary violence, and then decided, oh, we're done now. I'll just fuck off.
Yeah.
And now all these women and children who are out without families, as you said, people are literally clinging onto planes to try and escape from the violence and are dying.
The flip side of what you're saying is things were better.
But also, let me finish. You know, all these people now are going to obviously, you know, seek asylum in our country.
Sure.
But now we are a hostile environment. So this is another issue that we're having to face.
Hostile environment
Pretty-
to-
A hostile environment to
Oh,
immigrants
yeah.
coming over.
Oh, Pretty
and now,
Patel ain't gonna have that
exactly,
shit either,
she ain't
let's
going to
be
have all
honest.
these people from Afghanistan coming to our country.
What
So
do you
where
think-
do we go from here? We've gone into a country where we've caused havoc,
Yeah.
and now we're not going to allow them asylum to the country.
Don't know.
I can't. That doesn't fix with me.
What do you think about all the people who have said that Biden's worse than Trump right now?
I wouldn't go that far, to be honest. I really wouldn't.
I would. I'd say he's
I
worse.
find that as a wild
It
hot
almost
take.
doesn't matter though.
I'd say
It's
it's worse.
it's like a distraction. in
Yeah.
my eyes.
I don't
You think it's
think
worse?
that's true.
What do you reckon?
I think it's a
worse.
distraction.
But what do you
I
think?
don't care. Yeah, they're the same shit. I prefer Trump.
I'd say he's worse in this context because Biden's excuse for
Only because with Trump, there's no bullshit. It's to the face.
Yeah.
Trump would have come out and said, I don't care about these
I agree.
Afghans. I'm not looking to waste $1 trillion a year. Yalla, bye.
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
Whereas Biden's coming up with the fluff. Oh, we've achieved our objective. This is this, and we're
I
leaving
get
that
what you're
behind.
saying.
There's none of that facade.
I think
with
he's
trying to be diplomatic about it.
Yeah, I think Biden's basically been pretty straightforward, but it's just nicer.
look the thing.
He's older.
The reason,
Diplomatic.
He is.
the
They're the
reason
same age, I think.
the reason I think Biden's worse than Trump
Wow.
is that
Yeah.
Oh no, but
They're both the same
age.
Biden
Yeah.
is literally just
he's fucking senile. Bless
Yeah,
him. He's got
exactly.
shit for brains. The reason I think Biden's worse than Trump on this one is because there have been plenty of leaked papers affected that the US troop withdrawal was a negotiating position to get the pro-Western Afghan government to agree to a limited force to remain. Now, they lost the election, they couldn't follow through with that, but Biden's pussy excuse for pulling out of Afghanistan was that my hands were tied by Trump's policy of withdrawal.
I remember when he
It's a
said
great
that.
excuse.
It's a shit excuse because the guy came in and wrote like 6 executive orders in his first day. You are the commander in chief. If you tell the army to stay, they stay.
Yeah.
Biden's a pusshole and they've bottled this, and I don't think people will ever forget it.
But he
No,
hasn't
no.
bottled it. This was his opinion. He doesn't like the war. He wants to leave.
He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't know. He doesn't even know where Afghanistan is.
Haram. Bad take. That's what it is.
Johnny. No, I'm not going to jump to Love Island without reiterating the solidarity and the love that we are sending to all those who are suffering and all of the.
Yeah, it's true.
laugh.
We can't go straight into Love
Yeah,
Island.
yeah,
We're talking about deaths, and then you're like,
Equally
on a
dense
lighter
topic.
note,
On a
like,
lighter note, Love
Liam
Island.
and Millie. Do you know what I mean?
Haram.
Yeah. Solidarity
haram.
to everybody for
Of
real,
course.
for real. Well done on your little prediction about Jake and Liberty.
Sorry,
not making it to.
Little prediction.
Yeah, whatever.
Fucking game changer.
Well done to Liam and Millie. I think that's the main prediction that came
Yes.
right.
Well
and
done,
Tommy.
Millie.
They're so
Myself and Tommy.
boring.
They are
But,
so boring.
but very beautiful. So
They are very nice
just let
to
them
look
have it. Aaron and Mary
That's your type.
lasted all of 60 minutes after landing in Stansted. Aaron, brother, you can't hot up Kaz. You cannot hot up Kaz for questioning the compatibility of your relationship with that stunner from Leeds.
That's right.
If you then break up with her 60 seconds after landing,
I'll tell you what it
in
was.
London town.
Babylon,
Kaz
innit?
don't need you. Kaz is a baddie by herself.
right. I'll
And
tell you
she
what
was
it
an
was.
influencer before she even went on to Love Island. So if you think that she can't start getting all these deals post Love Island,
Don't
think
know.
wrong.
She's
She
gonna
doesn't
be
need
the-
no man.
Speaking
Thank
of
you.
deals.
She's going to be
Just
the
to let you know what happened with
Speaking
Aaron.
of deals.
I want to let you
Speaking
know what
of
happened with
deals.
Aaron.
Speaking of deals.
Molly May.
No, you
Molly
need to talk about Aaron's fucking fate.
fucking
Now, you know what,
May.
yeah? Molly May has the black community in a chokehold.
Yo,
Oh, yeah?
I was looking at Molly May the other day and I was like, yo, is she cute?
Yeah.
Tell me
Post,
about the chokehold.
post.
All of a sudden, I'm looking at Molly like, yo.
She had the lip reduction.
That exactly.
I'm like, yo.
Because you don't remember when she looked like an alien.
Yeah. She goes, I
She's
perused.
pretty now.
She was a young Faye.
Yeah,
and
I
now she's
perused
not.
her little IG page the other day, and there was this one when she's like on holiday, and she's all fresh faced and shit. I was like, yo, she's kind of high. Them shit's high.
Yeah, still not my type.
And now she's
cute.
creative director at Pretty Little Thing
Yeah,
at
she's
22 years old.
But
Exploitative capitalism.
But did you hear the reason why she got that role?
Wow.
In an interview, she was like, "Oh, this role was so perfect for me because I input on what songs they should play on the set, and I've had like input into styling and this
Right.
stuff." And I was like, "So you chose a Spotify playlist on the set?
Yeah.
So that's what makes you
That's why
creative
you're creative
director.
director. No,
Just say that the bag was sweet.
No,
Isn't
no,
it?
no.
I
But
like-
that's no. Spotify playlist. That's a skill, though.
But just say the
no,
bag
but that's
was
a skill.
sweet.
That's a skill. That's a skill.
Well, bring up the Spotify playlist because I want to see what she's listening to.
Just FYI, I too am passionate about exploiting Bangladeshi labour in Leicester. So
Fucking Johnny holier than thou Vivas has entered the chat.
I'm also
and where did you buy your T-shirt from?
This one's Uniqlo, baby.
And where's your jeans
Gang.
from?
Uniqlo, baby.
And your
Gang.
socks?
Uniqlo, baby.
Gang.
Where's the range?
There is no range. It's
we're Uniqlo
baby.
boys.
Yeah. This
What about
is,
your Vans? They probably got made for 20p. How much do you pay for them?
Oh, she got
I'm
you
not a
there.
brand ambassador. It's a false equivalence.
That's not the point.
But
Well,
that's
it
the
is. You're
thing.
wearing
You
Jordans.
are-
Chat to me
but-
about.
But
chat
you
to me
are a
about
brand
exploiting.
They look
ambassador.
good though.
But you are a brand ambassador, bro.
How?
Everything we wear is
Them Vans
brand
are dead, bro.
ambassadoring.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure. You're like the Gen Z and all the chat about us is that
I'm not Gen Z. That's you.
Whatever, Gen
No,
X,
they're
Gen Z,
Gen
Gen
X,
Y.
they're old.
Across basically anyone under
Relax.
30.
No,
Basically.
you're millennial. Millennial was 27
Yeah.
to 40. So
Is
my
that what
brother's
millennial
40.
is?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
a millennial.
We're
You're
millennial.
not.
I'm a millennial.
But either way, regardless, like
Still better than you.
we're supposed to identify
That's
with
weird.
causes. We buy T-shirts with like hemp T-shirts because we're trying to be cool to the universe or whatever, right? So we're all brand ambassadors ultimately, right? When people are more into these kind of independent brands than ever before. So
What did you want to talk about with regards to Aaron and
Sorry,
what's her
Aaron's
name?
what-
kinda
Aaron's
missed
fade
it.
is dead
We
chat.
missed
It's a
it
dead
little
fade.
bit. Yeah, it's
Why?
fast. Because he landed, he got a fade, and now he's got a new chick, right?
Well, has he moved on
Who's
to
the
Mary
chick?
already?
Have you not seen the fade that he had before when he entered Love Island?
Yeah, it
Who's
wasn't a
the
fade.
chick?
That
bro.
went viral, bro.
It wasn't a fade, it was a
That step
disappearance,
thing.
bro.
Yeah, that step thing that he had, like bam, bam.
That's called hairline
A
disappearance.
lie.
He had to cut his own hair. He said it was either I trim my own hair
No.
or afro.
He's
Nah.
peng though.
He is good looking.
He's peng.
This is the power of a haircut. He landed in London, got a new trim, boom.
And
He was
that's
like, I can do
okay.
better than Mary.
Activate the summer look, baby.
Hot
Have
boy
you seen?
summer.
Have you seen
Don't know.
Mary's before and after pictures?
Yes.
It's quite sad because she was really pretty before. I don't really think she needed
Really pretty
surgery.
before.
Oh boy.
Let
She's
Johnny run
the
with it.
doctor.
Holier than thou
Yo,
again, yeah.
As far as like those facial augmentations go, yo, Mary's doctor deserves an MBE
Yeah, Dr. Shlomo was
because he's
on
done.
job still.
Yo, Shlomo was on job.
On job.
And this goes back to the incel thing, right? So like for real.
Yo, he's not over it.
Everything goes back to
Incel
incels.
like me has
Ultimately, if
re-entered the chat.
if your
Yes.
looks didn't matter, there wouldn't be $1 billion plastic surgery.
Yo, it's just
industry.
vanity, bro.
For women, not men.
Even for men now, you're seeing men get hair. I know we know two brothers who got hair transplants. Two men I know who've like just basically got new hair. Madness.
Speaking of, have you seen Duncan from Blue recently?
No.
He's had his whole Botox face done. I could not
Oh.
recognise
Is
him
he
the
look
other
good
day.
or bad?
Bad.
Is it?
But it
Blue have
seems to
got
be
bangers,
trickling in
by the way.
men's worlds to be
Alright.
getting surgery.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Go on.
You're out of breath. Somebody got him now.
They've actually got bangers, bro.
Yeah,
They
man.
actually
There's a
have.
couple of big tunes.
Yeah, they got a
One
catalog.
love.
Yeah.
But
I didn't
what
like
was
that.
it?
Pride,
I didn't
one
like
love.
that. I didn't like that one.
But that line, I think it's
So step back, cause you don't know this cat. I know deep down that you don't want me to react. I lay low, keeping all my options open. This is the situation that. Yeah, man.
How
it's
do you know
ironic
all
you
the
only remember the
words?
black guy's bars.
This
isn't it?
memory of mine, baby.
Simon from
You didn't
Blue.
remember the chorus. You're like the chorus. You're like,
But I know the raps. Oh yeah, I'm black.
and then my G comes in. He's like, yes.
Quick 16.
I'm black.
Yeah.
I'm black. I know the raps. That's just
We also have to think back
It
in
is
those
what it
times.
is.
There were things were fairly stereotypical, like Rocky B from Blazing Squad. Every
my
squad
God.
had one black guy
Oh my
who did
God.
the rapping.
He almost went.
basically.
Man, like
he
Leo
then-
the Lion
yeah,
from the
Love
streets.
Yeah, he then
Yeah.
almost went. and
Leo
won
the
Love
Lion
Island.
from the
the
streets. Simon from Blue.
Yeah.
Simon
Rocky
from
B from these man. Yeah,
Bradley from S Club.
Yes.
exactly.
Bradley.
Yes.
What's What's he doing now?
That
We
was
can feel the music going through the everywhere.
Banger.
There's no destination, baby. We don't even get in the right situation. Only one of their songs that went number one, sung by the Black Boy. Whatever.
Oh boy.
Whatever, they tried.
But that's what representation used to look like.
Don't know. Don't stop.
Now we're
moving.
everywhere, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to stop.
One of the things that we didn't say about Jessica Noah Morgan, you got a really strong name, by the way. Your name is like definitely suitable to your industry. Jessica Noah Morgan. It's great.
It's a strong Jamaican name, to be fair.
It also
Jamaican.
sounds like the kind of name
Jamaican.
that you never say. You have to say in its entirety. You never just say Jessica.
You can't abbreviate it.
Yeah, it's always like in its.
Jessica Noah Morgan.
Yeah, the Noah really lifts that whole shit. That Jessica Morgan, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Jessica Noah Morgan, I'm taking you more seriously.
That's the benefit of Judaism, baby.
One thing I didn't mention in my pretty unbelievable introduction to her before, she is also Forbes 30 under 30.
Jeez.
Now, I'm sure you've heard of it, but maybe, like me, don't really know what it's all about. So, please explain to us how it happened, what it means, and can you lend me a $5?
And me, please.
The bag is sweet now, I have to admit.
Oh, very good.
Very
The bag
good.
is sweet.
Big money talking.
How sweet? How sweet? Are we talking about like Tang-fastic Haribo sweet?
Yes.
It's called saving a deposit on a house sweet.
It's frivolous Uber activity.
Generational wealth has entered the chat.
The boss.
Enjoyments.
Enjoyment.
But it has come with hard work, of
Don't know.
course. You can't get these things without hard work and graft, which was the whole of 2020 for me. I
Is that
grafted
just 1 year of
throughout
graft? Is that all it took? 1 year of graft?
Boy.
For real.
a whole
I'm
lifetime
under
of
30.
graft.
There we go.
A
Don't
whole
sell
lifetime
yourself
of
short.
graft. But no, 2020 was actually like a butters year for me. I caught COVID early in
Oh, shit.
March, and then was working. I went to work like 3 days after I got out of hospital and was like on it, like journalism, going to report on coronavirus from the front line and all this stuff. And at the time, like I loved my job and I loved all the like the content I was coming out with and getting exclusives and stuff. But the way Forbes came about, like, took me off guard because I didn't apply for it. Someone must have thrown my hat into the ring.
Do you know who?
I don't know who.
Swear.
I don't know
To this
who.
day, they don't tell
To this
you.
day,
That's dope.
I don't know.
That's when you know you're doing dope shit.
And you know, it was like, it really took me off guard because like, even like, you know, my friends who have friends up north or somewhere else, like somewhere people know my name and know my work.
Hyper visible.
Which is just like crazy for me because I'm just like little old me. But then when
Stressing on the little.
it's just little old me.
5'1" me.
5'1" me.
That must be pretty cool, no? When you see people from like all parts of the world who've like interacted with your work.
Yeah, I guess like I have never gone into this career to want to be known. I've always want to be just like, you know, kind of giving voices to the underheard and underrepresented. So like when people know my name and like know my work, it's like nice for me, but it's not like the be all and end all. I'm like, oh, cool, but focus on the story, focus on the people that I'm trying to highlight. It's not about me.
And do you have like a typical segment that you try to highlight usually?
Nah, yo, like I've seen like just from following you, it'll be you reach out to everybody about everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's hard hitting. It's recent. It's topical. It's really important. Most importantly, the topics that you typically cover.
Don't
It's
worry, bro.
often-
She's already agreed to be here.
Yeah, man.
She's done an hour of
Sorry, man.
recording. She
I'm
can't
I'm
leave.
doing the niceties now because the next section is about to get funny.
No, but real talk, like it's literally just about reaching into communities and speaking about important topics that are relative to the news cycle, which I'm really passionate about, and that's why I went into journalism. Like I quit a whole law degree and law career to go into journalism because that's how much I care about it. But now,
Any
like
regrets?
no regrets.
No regrets. You don't look back. You don't think, oh man, I wish I'd practiced a bit of law.
She said the bag's good. What's
The
the
bag is
regret?
heavy.
The
I mean,
grass
it's
is
not
always
as
greener,
good as
isn't it?
law.
Exactly.
I can't
The grass is always
lie.
greener.
I'm not getting the bag that I used to get in law and finance. I was in finance as a fund manager for a while. But
If you had kept that up, you probably have a house by now.
I know. But I wasn't getting enjoyment out of it.
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment. Whereas now I'm not getting, my salary's not as big as that, but I get
love it
to
every
meet
day.
so many interesting people, and it some I appreciate, like, I come from a privileged place. I'm able to work, I'm able to live in a liberal society, I'm able to live as a free woman, but a lot of people don't have that privilege. So I get to speak to those people and elevate those stories. But yeah, 2020 was all about that, obviously coronavirus and all these things that came about it. But yeah, like, someone like submitted me to Forbes. Then like one morning I got an email from Forbes, like, you're under consideration for Forbes 30 under 30. And I was like, no, this is not real.
Yeah, sick.
What?
You were like, "Chee."
I was like, what the fuck is this? So I sent back, like, questions. They asked me, what do you do outside of work? What do you enjoy? What Spotify playlists have you made? Like, little questions
They
like
actually
that.
asked you that.
Yeah, they asked me, like, what apps do you use the most and why? So I was like, Spotify,
Wow.
obviously, because I'm like, the van. And Instagram. And then, like, a couple of months later, I didn't hear anything back from them. And then one morning at 7 a.m. in the morning, I received an email from Forbes, like, you've been selected Forbes 30 under 30 candidate. And I was like, I was running up and down the house, like, this is not real. Like, this is not real. Like, I thought someone was
Who's the
literally...
first person you called?
My mum,
Yeah.
my dad, but they didn't know what the fuck it was. They went, what's Forbes? They didn't. For like years, my parents didn't even know or understand what I even did at Refinery or Vice. They just were like, oh, you're writing, whatever.
Yeah.
So then when I got Forbes, I was like, wow, this is amazing. But actually, like, it's more than just the accolade. Like, I was introduced to all these brilliant people around the world, in business, in finance, in media. And we're part of this Slack channel where it's just a huge, massive opportunity to connect with different people. But yeah, it's a huge accolade, but also, like, it's not that deep. There's still work to be done.
Don't know.
And, just because I've got that accolade doesn't mean I'm top this, top that. I'm still me from the ends. I'm still in journalism trying to do what I'm doing. But
you will move from the 30 under 30 to the Forbes list in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, please.
oh, thank God.
Now, I was going through your Twitter.
Time to tear a good woman down.
None of this is crazy, but I do want you to justify some of the things you say on there.
Okay.
Can we cut this?
I know I'm a bit wayward.
Can we cut this bit for the incels so we can get them back on side?
Yeah.
You're a witch.
This first one, I just want to understand how this even came about, how this happened. You said recently, very recently. I thought JK from Jamiroquai was black for a hot minute. Explain yourself.
You know what I did? I genuinely did. I just thought it was light skin. I genuinely thought it was light skin. And it jarred me the other day when I was like, I think it was like a 20-year anniversary of the album or whatever. And I was like, let me do my Googles. So I went on Wikipedia. Why am I saying he's not black?
Yeah, nah. Not even close, love.
Not even a sprinkling.
No.
No curl.
You're saying
None of that.
white people don't have rhythm? Is that what you're getting
They
at?
don't.
She saw the snake hips and was like, he can't be white.
Have you never heard of Tom
No,
Jones?
but you know when you look at him in
Jones is
what's
white.
that music video where he's like
He's
sliding
Welsh.
across the
Virtual
room?
insanity.
Virtual insanity.
He's whiter than Johnny. in
No,
that.
but you know what?
Saying something.
Yeah.
But he has more rhythm than Johnny.
Oh,
Yeah, real talk.
I'm kind of with you, to be fair.
He's
I
got a
thought
bit of spice
Jamiroquai
to
was
him.
Ryan Giggsy.
What's wrong with you, man?
What?
Like, you know how Ryan
Ryan
Giggs has
Giggs
like a
is
little
white.
black in it?
he's Sierra Leonean with
No, but
drumsticks.
he's got, like,
Ryan Giggs is mixed,
You
isn't he?
said, so that's what I
say
thought
that.
Jamiroquai
Exactly.
was.
I thought he was
You say
light
that.
skinned.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
And there's different shades of black. We know
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And this is why I thought,
I've got a few
he
shades
has
in the
he
room
has
right
a
now.
bit of but actually I think he's Colombian or he's got
Who,
Spanish
JK?
in him. Yeah, he's got Spanish in him or
Hold on. We're not grouping the Latinos with the gringos, please. We're not doing this discourse on
I'm
this
sorry.
podcast in Jesus' name. For all of them, yeah?
He's got
We don't relate to the European them.
I think he's
on that
Colombian.
continent.
I think he's South American in some
Boom.
thing.
So eso es mi vecino, pues.
What?
That's
Yeah.
my neighbor then, isn't it?
Oh right.
Second tweet. Why do the richest people have the worst hair extensions?
You know what?
Was that
That's
at Chloe?
a fact.
Was that at Chloe? Just at Chloe Burrows if you're going to at her, innit?
It was.
Ooh.
It actually was.
Who's Chloe Burrows?
The Chloe from Love Island.
It was.
Okay. Well, she
Because
got
what-
bad extensions.
No,
Terrible.
but it's not just
She
her.
ripped.
Terrible.
She rich.
When I, you know,
Well,
when
she
you're
is now.
scrolling through Instagram and you see all these like rich baddies, you know, like rich Russian billionairesses and stuff, and I'm just like, you have infinite amount of money, and your hair extension is still showing outside your head. My man's going down to Peckham to get hair extensions, and it looks better than that.
Oh, boy.
So you got bare money, but your hair is butters. I want to understand, but I think it also comes from a place of when you got money, that doesn't necessarily mean you got style.
100%. That's number one rule. Yeah.
But also, if
And
you
you're
got money,
always
you don't care.
trashy.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg lives in a t-shirt.
But that's different. That is.
He doesn't look bad, though.
It doesn't look bad. He's just like a
It's just a
regular
uniform.
But
guy.
he's got the money.
He's a regular guy in a Uniqlo t-shirt.
We're out here.
Gang.
But he's not out there with bleach blonde, you know, hair extensions, but their hair is so chang from straightening that they got no hair to even add extensions in. So they've added these cheaper, nasty extensions, which probably cost them a bag, and look nasty as fuck. I'm just like, how?
Tweet number 3.
We're 2 for 2 in attacking white people. I'm excited to see how this
I'm
one
sorry.
goes.
I twerked for England last night.
Babylon.
in the middle of the road in front of a fire engine.
Yes. Yes.
This is my favourite bit. Shame. I mean, you don't need to explain that, to be honest. I think we all twerked for England
I think-
towards
well,
that mid-section of the tournament
I had
before
COVID.
things went really
I
bad.
was laid out.
You know what the worst
yeah,
part
cool.
about that tweet was? My boss read it. It was the first thing he said to me when I came in the office the next day. And it's a true story. I was literally twerking on the ground in the middle of Shoreditch.
When
and
was this?
The Euros,
Like,
the semi-final.
Like,
This is at the end.
semi-final. We were all
So we
gassed
won.
in the
We were
semi-final.
gassed.
Yeah, we were all
Yeah.
gassed.
I was waved.
I was in
after-
bed dying of COVID.
Yeah.
The
No
rest
one
of us
cares.
were gassed, though. The rest of us were gassed. You
Yeah,
don't remember
I was
that?
gassed. I was gassed. Yeah.
Jeez, we were-
100%.
But the gag is, the fire engine had his blue lights on. It was in a rush.
Shit.
Oh,
And my
snap.
big ass was twerking in front, and they had
And he
to
was
beat
like,
me to
probably,
like, girl, I know England
Isn't
won,
that
but
the
you
time,
need to
all
get
the
the
place?
fuck because someone is on fire.
Imagine if they just pulled up the fire engine. They were like, you
Just
know
hose
what?
me down.
Just
You know
water
what?
cannon her.
You know what? People die every day, B.
Yeah, innit? I'm gonna watch this girl ruin her
for
life.
real.
It's insulting
this
that
is
they
St. John's
decided to
problem
use
now.
the blue lights and not the red lights.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
Final tweet. And this is the one that made me laugh. We've kind of touched upon it today already. But just the way you delivered this really made me laugh.
Oh, yeah?
You are not 5'10". See how men lie unprovoked.
We've touched on this one a
Yeah.
little already today.
It's a consistent theme. It's a
I like
consistent
that you're
theme.
consistent with it.
Yes,
Thank you.
consistency is key.
That's one of
they
the
say.
rudest tweets I've ever heard in my
isn't it?
life.
That is
See
bars.
how men lie unprovoked.
See how men lie from 5'1",
Brother.
talking upwards.
Yeah, ridiculous. Nah, but
No,
for real.
but I'm actually sick of this. We are living in a pandemic of men lying about their height, and we need to talk about it.
It's true, we do
We
need
need
to
to
talk
talk about it. Explain yourselves in the comments or somewhere. Explain yourselves. Why do you lie?
What's the justification for it?
So let's put it this way, yeah. If you were in their position, how would you approach this?
I ain't gonna lie about my height.
So how would you approach it?
I say I'm 5'10".
Rags. How about if you're 5'7" or
I say
5'8"?
I'm 5'7".
But then
Yeah, you gotta
you're just gonna air them.
I will, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You and a bunch of others will air
But
them.
imagine I come to a date expecting this tall stallion, and I see some deadbeat 5'5".
Shetland pony.
I'm going
turn up.
home.
You don't think there's any chance he can win you over with his personality?
No.
Have you not done that?
There's
Have you
not
ever
enough
done that?
chat in the world, yeah?
Have you walked from a date because the bloke's been shorter than he said on his profile?
I've stayed for one drink and I've gone home.
Yikes.
Oh boy.
Yo,
There you go.
yeah, no, I'm still not.
I know
That
what I
goes back
want,
to
and
your
I don't
point.
want to be looking in someone's eyeballs.
Just get some game, apparently.
Just get
That was
some
your
game.
advice,
But
yeah?
he lied, so he
Not
doesn't have
all the
game.
game
And
in the
that's
world will help you
it.
as a
Why?
5'5" brother.
If you have to lie about your height, you don't have game. So my point remains.
Why
my
is the
G.
lie? That's
I
the
mean,
problem. I could understand
Because
if
you're
I
not gonna secure the
actively
first
knew.
date.
If I actively knew
She's
that
the
I was
only 5'1" person who doesn't want a 5'5" guy.
Bro,
joking.
every girl I know,
She should be.
yeah, but every girl you know,
too
like
short.
every girl we all know have similar kind of chat. They're all saying they're not interested in a guy who's 5'5".
God, I'm so happy I'm tall.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but there is something called too tall. Because when I met Ovi, I wanted to fuck Ovi.
who
But
didn't?
Mandem was too tall.
How tall was he?
He's
Man,
6'6", I think.
He's 6'8".
Oh,
Oh, wow.
snap.
He
That's
is
huge.
tall.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the man of my dreams. I was like, this is honestly going to be the man of my dreams.
Oh,
Went to this like ASOS launch. He was there. He like picked me out the crowd to try on his new clothes. And I was like, this is it. We gonna fuck tonight. And why is my neck cricking so much that I had neck ache? I said, I can't do this.
I'm sorry, you're too
Turn
picky.
into a nightmare.
Is that when
Too
the
picky.
I'm not picky.
You are.
no,
I
no.
have standards.
This is when the
Can't
top
argue with
end
that.
came in, yeah. So before then, you thought you couldn't be too tall. Then after meeting Ovi, you're like, yeah, we're gonna cut it off at 6'4", yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Is that
6'4" is a bit too tall.
So where you
I have a
cutting it?
limit. I'm between 5'11" and 6'1".
I hear
Jesus,
that.
Wow,
2
that's
inch
very
range.
specific.
Yeah.
Last story before we move on to relationship advice. Just want to get your quick opinion on this. Classic album, but a very weird story that's come from it. Spencer Eldon, the man who was photographed as a baby on the album cover for Nirvana's Nevermind, is suing the band alleging sexual exploitation.
Sexual exploitation.
The cover depicts Eldon, I'm sure you've seen the cover, as a 4-month-old baby in a swimming pool grasping for a dollar bill that's been dangled in front of him on a fishing line. Now, 30 years old, Eldon says his parents never signed a release authorizing the use of his image on the album.
That's interesting.
Eldon alleges his true identity and legal name are forever tied to the commercial sexual exploitation he experienced as a minor, which has been distributed and sold worldwide from a time he was a baby to present day. He claims he has suffered and will continue to suffer lifelong damages as a result of the artwork, including extreme and permanent emotional distress.
Come and see Fuckery. This is the same man. This is the same man who got a tattoo on his skin, Nirvana, and said that he was so pleased to be part of such an iconic moment in history. And man, now that his money is dried up, is suing for cash.
To take it one step further,
Stockholm
Jess,
syndrome.
he actually recreated that album cover as an adult many times, as you guys can see on the laptop
That's
right
not
here.
cute. I don't want to see
Stockholm
that.
I don't want to
But
see his penis.
this was the no, he wasn't naked actually, he was wearing shorts.
It's not the same.
But what was
No
yeah.
no point looking.
But he said, this is the one that really got me. It was like, I just woke up already being a part of this huge project, he said. It's pretty difficult. You feel like you're famous for nothing. Now, Spencer, buddy, you were 4 months old when that thing was shot.
I'd lie.
The only way anybody's gonna know that was you is if you told them, motherfucker.
If you do the big press release,
Otherwise, it's just a baby.
this some dumb shit.
That's it.
This some
What
dumb
an
shit.
idiot.
No, man, go after your bag, B. Fuck it.
To quote,
What grounds, lawyer? If you were Spencer's lawyer, what would be your grounds?
no, the parents not signing a release form is sus.
Exactly. If they
That's
haven't
sus.
signed the release, then he can sue them for all types of shit.
They probably got paid, for fuck's sake. Come on.
Yeah, but there's also, I don't know when the Nirvana album was released.
That was
but
92, wasn't it?
back
I
in
think
those
so.
days, there was a lot of exploitation. That's when the Macaulay Culkin law came about, right? When all these parents who are like basically spanking up the wall the money that the kids earn. So it could easily be a scenario where they got paid and he hasn't seen a dime of that, right? So now he's like, actually, bun working. Like, Jess is talking about waking up at 7 a.m. Fuck that. And now he just wants a payday. Boom.
Imagine if like the Teletubby baby sued. You're not going to know who that baby is because
Shit,
it's a
I forgot about that
fucking baby.
Anyway, look, Spencer, good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
Good luck, Charlie. It's
luck.
It's probably going to be a very, to be honest, Nirvana might just like, Dave Grohl and them man might just be like, yeah, it's 20G, shut the fuck up.
To be fair, if I was Nirvana's manager, I'd probably advise him to sue just so that people start buying the album again.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good
That's
marketing.
probably the.
And while we're
that's
on the
good
subject-
marketing.
That's an angle we forgot about the OnlyFans thing. So one or two of the conspiracy theories were around the OnlyFans saying that they were going to
Oh, it's a PR
veer
strategy.
out as a PR stunt,
Yeah, of course.
basically.
Yeah, I guess.
You cynic, you.
And while we're on the topic of music, I don't know if you guys have seen this documentary on Netflix called This Is Pop. Watch it. Listeners, co-hosts, watch it. It's about pop, but in various different eras. So the first episode is about Boys to Men and how they came from being like Boys Next Door to, yep, from being the boys next door to like the pop stars who were then taken over by the other pop stars like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Then there's this episode about Sweden and how their pop world started with ABBA and ended with Max Martin. You're still singing, bit distracting.
Very out of tune.
There's one about country music and how
See
little
haters.
There's a part about country music where Lil Nas X went in there and fucked shit up and how they hated him. It's very, very good. Watch it.
The only music documentary I will be watching this year is the
Surviving R. Kelly.
Is the Channel U documentary that's coming
yeah,
out in
that
October.
looks good.
That looks fucking mad.
Do you remember Channel U?
That was so good.
I'm so gassed.
Channel
for that to
U
come
was
out.
like lit as a kid.
That was
I'm so
Channel
gassed.
U is my religion. Like,
Even if you just
That
watch the
was
promo,
it.
there's 10 bangers just in the documentary
Friday night,
promo.
gotta see my man. On your man, let's have a
one-
one night stand.
right. We have
was
now.
lit.
I'm excited for this relationship advice because we got a female perspective.
Yes, we've been missing that a little.
Johnny, it's your turn. Take it away.
It's quite apt that we have the female perspective on this one, because having had, I think, 2 or 3 submissions in a row from guys,
Mandem, yeah.
we're back to the girls.
Ooh, they got more problems.
We are back to the girls in the DMs. This one came by way of Instagram.
Hey,
And we thank you for your submission.
Messi.
There's actually not a lot of chat on the message itself. It's quite a straightforward point. So I'm going to use my artistic license. This is what's happened. I'll pretend to read it out in the first person. My friend and I went out to a bar a couple of weeks ago. We met a group of guys and got talking to them. One of my friends got close to one of the guys in particular, and they exchanged numbers. They have been on a first date, but after the first date, he added me on Instagram.
Okay.
Me being the friend of the girl.
The submitter is the friend.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Right.
submitter is the friend. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
He and I
She's laughing already.
seemed to have a connection on the night, but as my friend was speaking to him all evening, I decided to let them progress.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice of you.
Magnanimous.
I thought it was strange that he added me after the first date with my friend, but since then, we have been liking each other's pictures
Hey.
and reacting to each other's stories.
Ooh, we dropped a little 100 on a pretty picture.
I'm
A
screaming.
little firebomb.
Well, fire!
I like the
She
firebomb. I like the
told
effect.
me that she had a great time with him and she would like to see him again.
Okay.
Messi.
He has been trying to start conversation with me in the DMs, but as yet I haven't responded.
Rude.
I really liked him on the evening and I'm very attracted to him, but I don't want to sabotage my relationship with my friend by moving to someone who she is getting to know. Do I let her progress or do I let her know how I feel?
Ooh.
I think
First of all-
we'll go in the deep end.
First
and,
of all,
oh,
shout
go on.
out my man.
Yeah,
That's it.
He's playing game. We're gonna go straight to the deep end, and Jess, you can take the lead.
Yeah,
on
I
this
will.
one.
I will on this one. So fuck the mandem.
rude.
First of all,
of
thinking
us.
he can have his cake and eat both of them.
But what if it's love?
It ain't. It ain't love. First of all, as a girl whose friend is getting with the guy and who the guy is messaging you, fuck the guy. Talk to your friend. Girl code exists.
Shit.
And if you are such a good friend to
only
your
one
friend, exactly, it's only one date, you should be telling your friend how he's jumping in your DMs, because men move like snakes. They will text you, text your friend, text this, and think that we're idiots. The best thing about it is to talk to your girls and to keep that communication going.
Maybe he's just trying to build a relationship with the friend, because in the future there will be situations where he has to do surprise parties, where he has to buy an engagement ring, where he has to take her away on a surprise holiday.
won't do the baby shower
and
with
he
the
needs
balloons and that,
somebody
innit?
close to the friend to orchestrate that stuff. Why do you always become so cynical about our intentions?
Right, so first of all, let me just get this
Can we
straight.
just say there's gun fingers? Just first of
Yo,
all,
if Jess had a real gun, I'd be dead right
I'd be
now.
out the room.
I'd be dead.
But the gun fingers always come
They're
out.
still out.
Yeah.
They are still out because first of all, the girl who went on a date with the man,
Yeah.
did they lips?
Oh,
I don't have that information, but what I do have is that the friend is attracted to the guy.
So they obviously
friend?
lips. Because what
The
first
friend
date are
is
you
the
going on if
submitter.
you're not
Yeah,
attracted
okay.
to someone that you're not lipsing them?
Well,
If I'm
Okay.
attracted to someone on a first date, I'm lipsing the lips off their face.
I don't have the, I
Can I ask
don't,
you
I
a
don't have
question
that
then, yeah?
information.
Is the friend, the submitter
Yeah.
of this, wrong for engaging in DMs? Because it sounds like they've been chatting, right? Liking
she
each other's
said-
shit.
They've been
Have they
liking,
been
chatting? Rah, rah, rah.
No, he has tried to chat to her, and she has yet not responded.
Good girl.
But they're
She's
going back and forth, right?
respectful.
He's
so
liking
they
her
like each other.
photos, she's liking his photos.
Yeah, so they're doing
responding
that.
to stories.
Yeah, but he's tried to start a conversation.
Sure.
And she hasn't yet responded because she's concerned about her friend.
But she's done
Okay.
everything else. She's responded to
Okay.
his stories
Yeah.
and liked his shit.
Yeah.
So my G's like, obviously she's on it. Let me hit her up with some chat.
Yeah, so she's now sitting on the fence as to whether
So
or not
is
she
it-
should
is she
respond.
wrong for doing that?
Devil's advocate here, because we obviously don't know the whole story. How do we know that what he's saying to her in the DM is flirtatious?
Well, she's-
because going back to your point, you know, he might be thinking, oh, you know, I might get close to the girl that I'm dating's friend to kind of, you know, maybe organize a group thing.
I'm
And,
just
you know,
saying.
no, but I get that. You know, guys and girls, like, they love group things or whatever.
I think just to add to that, I think you're 100% right. Because the more I think about it, the more genuine his intentions seem. And really,
You're the incel, bro.
it's
I don't trust anything you
it's
say.
actually her brethren who's in the wrong. Because
think-
he's out here trying to be friends with his future girlfriend's missus, and she's out here catching feelings.
No, so
That's what she said. I like him.
Yeah, so to Jess's point, I would presume that there's enough in the DMs,
For her to assume.
given that she already likes him,
To
for
assume
her-
that it's reciprocated.
there's something
Right.
something reciprocal.
Yes. Okay.
So should she act on it or should she not?
She needs to chat to her homegirl. She needs to chat to her homegirl and be like, look.
But
What?
why hasn't she chatted to her?
Oh, a good
homegirl
question.
yet?
But maybe she's nervous. Maybe she
No.
wants.
Okay.
Maybe
Another
she
question.
wants me
No.
as an
Maybe-
independent party to
maybe-
provide her with that advice.
Maybe the man in question is Ovi. And she's like, yo, that's Ovi.
Ovi's a different breed, bro.
I'm just saying.
I would cheat for Ovi.
I'm saying. I'm just saying.
I would.
That's a popular theme. Like, Ovi seems to be mad popular with the girls.
Ovi's-
Every girl I've ever met loves
Ovi's
Ovi.
legit is like one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen.
He is
He's gorgeous,
beautiful.
like, real talk.
Can I ask a question? How would you suggest homegirl approaches her friend?
I like his little pregnant pauses in between
Yeah, I
words. It's
know.
great.
It's called taking a class on speech making. How would you suggest homegirl
More
approaches
classes
her
needed.
friend, given that she does like this guy? Does she pretend she doesn't? Does she admit it to her friend? Does she update her that he is also DMing her? How, given that her objective is to get something done with this geezer,
Yeah.
how does she go about it
You know what?
in a wholesome way?
If I was this person in this scenario, if
Have you ever been in a similar scenario where you've gone out, you've met a group of people, someone's tried to mac on your brethren, and then later tried to mac on you?
probably.
Jeez, because you can imagine
It
this kind of stuff.
happens.
Yeah, it happens
It
all the time.
happens.
It's
I
a
can't
fairly
like
regular thing.
pinpoint a thing that's happened.
And is he wrong for that then? He's gone on one date with your friend, and he's thought, I think I might like you in this scenario, or the friend, the submitter
exactly.
in this scenario
Yeah.
better. That's his
Yeah,
thinking, yeah?
that's fair.
I met you, I met your friend at the same event. We kind of ended up taking each other's numbers, but
Yeah.
you and I also had a bit of a connection.
But really, I was onto you.
Let's not even say really I was onto you.
Yeah, exactly,
I was
'cause you
like,
can't
we
say
just
that.
met, right? We just met a group of 3 girls. We kind of, whatever. You end up going on a date with this one. The date might have
Basically,
been-
you settled
or
too quickly.
Maybe.
They always say, check out the friends because you might have ended up with the ugly one. So always suss out
No,
the
that
friends
doesn't apply here,
first
'cause they
before
all
you
met each
settle.
other, but they all met each other on that night, so that doesn't apply here.
All right.
How does homegirl chat to her girl about
I think, you know, as I said, if I was in that situation,
Is it cards on the table?
I'm a homegirl with, my, you know, if it's my best friend, I'll take her out. I'll be like, come over, let's chat. Okay, what's going on with this guy that you're chatting with? And then she'll give me whatever the thing. And I'll be
source.
like, she'll give me the source of what's happening. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, I just want to be transparent and be like, well, your man,
hitting me up.
if you're really in love with him and you want to go on dates with him, I just want to be transparent that he's jumping in my DMs. However,
Snitch.
how is that? Like, you know what? Why is that a snitch?
It's just an ad lib.
It's
Carry
a
on.
snitch.
It's not a snitch.
You don't know his intentions at this point.
But the thing is,
Yeah, but she wants to
I
bang
do.
him, so
I'd
that
I
also
do.
say it's not that deep because it's one date.
It is one date, but also
That's
if
what
I'm
I'm getting at.
feeling that feelings are reciprocated from the messages that this guy is sending me, knowing that he's been on a date with my friend, like there's obviously a connection there. But also, I want to be honest with my homegirl. I
Yeah.
want to be like, you know, this guy that you're telling me that you're feeling and you want to go on a second date with is also in my DMs. So I just want to make sure that he's not trying to play us both. Because at the end of the day,
Correct,
if he's trying to play us both and figure that we're not going to be talking about it, then he's a dickhead. And he doesn't deserve either of us. So that is it.
But would he get one of you though?
Nah, and he shouldn't.
Clearly, it depends what he looks like.
To the woman who
And
submitted
if he's
this,
between 5'10" and
to the
6'1".
to the woman submitting this, do not
Because it seems
do
all
not
like
fall
girl
for the
power.
patriarchy. Do not fall for the patriarchy because it's dumb.
The patriarchy.
Do not fall for it. Stay with your home girl. There's better fish to fry in this world.
But
There are better men out there who will not be playing up with your friend.
I don't know if he's playing up though, right?
He might have love for
Look,
her.
there's so many girls out there.
What
Why
should
are
I
you
do?
choosing my friend?
All right, let's chat about this as if it was me, yeah? So I've gone out with her. I've gone out with this girl.
Yeah.
And I thought, she's lovely and everything, but I feel like I had a better connection with her friend. I'm kind of regretful that I went on the date with this.
Well, you take the L when you move on.
Is that what you'd say, yeah?
Take the L and you move
So you don't
on.
do
there's
to either of them.
there's no scenario
the L.
under which I can hit up her brethren ever.
You take the L.
Ever.
You take the L.
that's dead.
Because if I say, look,
That's dead
if
chat.
I went on a date with a guy, and I realize, oh, I'm not really feeling this guy, but I'm feeling his friend.
Yeah.
I might have to take that L.
Oh,
Because I
really?
can't. The
You
thing
wouldn't
is,
hit his friend up.
You wouldn't hit his friend up.
Any
because you know
scenario.
what? Nah.
That's bullshit.
Cat.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah, because
Cat.
it's actually a disrespect. I wouldn't want to disrespect him because I know that if I went on a date with him, I obviously had a really good time.
One
I've
date.
probably lipsed him.
Okay.
And now I know how men think. Men feel very uncomfortable if they've lipsed or had sex with the same girl. So I do not want to be in that dynamic.
Let's say if you haven't lipsed him, would you find it disrespectful then?
If I'm not lipsed him, it's fair game, isn't it?
There you go then. That's exactly the same as what I was saying. You can't like turn down a genuine connection. She's
might
my
love
type
her.
on paper, bro.
He might love her. He
She's
might
my
love her.
type on paper, bro.
You've been watching Love Island too much.
So thank you to the submitter. I hope you.
This is the first time we've given no clarity. We just talked shit about her for 10 minutes.
No, I think
we've got.
I think we've come to a conclusion that the
Jess was
conversation
fucking useless for this
probably
segment.
needs to take place between the friends.
It does.
I would advise the one who's receiving the side DMs to possibly potentially
Chat to a girl.
leave him on red. Go and have
Power moves.
Go and have a little wine with your bestie, and try your best to not bang him without your friend knowing after you've had that conversation.
Yes.
Because bitches are also shady sometimes. Moving on to quiz.
This one's a pretty straightforward one. All right. So it's the quiz time,
Get your
ladies
notes
and
apps.
gentlemen.
Get your notes
Get your
apps
phones out.
Oh god.
Start doing the mathematics. So listen, we're doing something a little different this week with the quiz. So typically the quiz is 5 questions.
Yeah.
And we cover news stories that we haven't had a chance to cover in the pod.
Yeah.
This week,
Okay.
we had a long-time listener reach out and say, guys, I don't know, you know Artie. Artie reached out.
Okay.
She was like, guys, you record on Fridays, don't you?
Yeah.
I said, yes, we record on a Friday.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
She said, this Friday,
Okay.
I've got my Life in the UK test.
Okay.
Which is obviously the citizenship test that you
Oh,
get
shit.
to take to get a British passport.
Oh,
Yeah.
rah.
So I was like, oh yeah. She was like, I think this week all your questions should be based on the Life in the UK test.
Bruh.
That's actually going to be really
Can
hard.
I just say
Super hard.
Can
So
I
I
just
said,
I know loads of people who have done this
listen to
test.
yeah?
I
So
know
I said to her,
fuck all.
okay,
Yeah.
send me some questions. So she sent me 25 questions from her like app that she was using. I picked the easiest 5.
Okay.
And even then, they're not that easy.
Bruv, I've seen some of those questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want this to go on record because Pretty Patel will be listening and will start filing me and sending me on Windrush 4. And I do not want to be exposed.
Can I just say, as much as I love Artie, I do think the country is full. So I am hesitant of participating in this.
Yes.
I don't want to give her the answers.
You will be happy to know that she has passed.
Oh, good.
Yes, yes,
Congratulations
yes.
to our
Well
long-time
done.
listener,
Mazel tov.
Artie.
Mazel tov.
God save our
Mazel
queen
tov.
and all that.
Mazel
God
tov.
save our queen and that.
Yeah.
Rule Britannia.
So you man ready, yeah? Jess, obviously you've listened to this podcast many times.
Yes.
But just for the other new listeners, 5 questions. Every question has an answer, which is a number. Then we sum those 5 numbers at the end to get a final number to see, whether you've killed it or not.
Get your notes out.
I'm ready to throw out feminism out the window and let you guys let me win.
No. Let's go.
We can
Relax.
try to manage something like this. So the first question is something that every fucking 12-year-old in America will know, but I'm pretty sure none of you guys will know it. because I had no idea.
And no Googling.
no
obviously no
Googling.
Googling.
Oh, absolutely
No,
not.
there's no cheating here.
No.
So, how many colonies in America declared independence from Britain in 1776?
Brother.
Sake.
Literally every 12-year-old in America would know this. Just saying.
Wait, repeat the question.
Question number 1.
You're gonna
How
have to
many
keep up.
colonies in America declared independence from Britain in 1776?
Colonies in America.
Let's go, baby.
Write down a number and we move on to
I'm a
question
guess.
number 2.
I'm going to guess that one.
How many national parks are there in England, Scotland, and Wales? Another number. Man, this is mad hard. It's mad hard. And I picked the easiest one.
Fucking crazy.
All right, so there's 2 questions.
This is crazy.
2 numbers. On to the third one. In Scotland, X number of people serve on a jury. What's the number? How many jurors are there
Yeah,
in
let's
Scotland?
ask the ex-fucking lawyer that one, why don't we, yeah?
If I get this wrong,
All right. On to the next. Johnny's nervous. You can see when he starts complaining about the nature of the questions is when you know he's getting nervous.
That's correct.
All right. Question number 4. The Prime Minister appoints about X senior MPs to become ministers in charge of departments. All right. So
Repeat the question, please.
the question is, the Prime Minister appoints about X senior MPs to become ministers in charge of departments. So how many does he appoint, right?
How many in cabinet is the question, basically?
basically.
Effectively.
You know that laugh? You remember back in school, that laugh that you laugh when you open up your exam paper and realize you're going to fail?
You're like,
That's me right now.
I don't know if you ever used to do this, yeah? But you'd flick through the exam to see like if the
Which
hedged bets that you took on the what you revised has
Which
worked out.
ones you could answer first.
Yeah, so you're like, you
Get 'em
flick
out
through,
the
you're
way.
like, oh yes, I got that one. I did that one.
Yeah. Lock in the exam points.
how many B's have I checked?
Yeah,
in this exam?
All right, here's the final question. This one's where it's going to throw you guys off. Big Ben Bell, housed in the Elizabeth Tower, is over X years old and is a popular tourist attraction.
That is sauce. No,
That
'cause
one's the one that's going to throw
this
it
guy
off.
fucks the entire quiz,
This is the one that throws it all off for you, man. This is a chance for whoever didn't get the first 4
I
to
did not get
get
the
back
first
in the
4.
game.
All
All right, take your 5 answers, sum them up nicely. Abiadi, as always, you're close to me. Show me your number. Very good. Jess, once you're done, you can show me your number as well. Oh, I can't see that, mate.
Oh, you got to top them up.
All right,
you
it's
put
fine.
the notes down as well. I don't do that. I just do. I
It's
just
okay.
do the
Have
number.
you got a sum? You
Oh,
need to sum
shit.
them.
Yeah, you got.
Johnny, have you summed yours?
I have some mine.
Go on, give us a number, Johnny.
My number is 389.
389 from Mr. Vivas. Mr. Abiadi.
202.
202 from Mr. Abiadi. And Miss Jessica Noah Morgan.
In its entirety.
Struggling with that calculator.
147.
147.
Boy.
It's a good spread.
Give me a high number, baby.
It's a
I
good
hope-
spread.
I hope this
147 for Jess.
389.
389 for Johnny.
202.
202.
I hope this bell's fucking old.
Question
bruv.
number 1. How many colonies in the United States declared independence from Britain in 1776? 13 colonies.
I did 12.
Not bad.
I went for 5.
Not bad. You're,
fuck.
smashing. You're on track to win this.
I went for
You went for
5.
5, yeah.
I did 12.
13. Number 2. This is a stab in the dark. How many national parks are there in England, Scotland, and Wales? There are 15 national
Oh, I
parks.
got close.
All right, so you
What
guys
did
are
you get?
tracking.
I did 28.
I did 11, I think.
I went for 9.
9. All right, you're tracking. All
Where the
right.
fuck are 28? I don't know.
How many jurors in Scotland?
5.
15.
I did 16.
Oh, you're looking good, bro.
Oh, fuck.
You're looking
fuck
good.
that.
This is
The
not
Prime
good.
Minister, he appoints about 20 senior
Ooh, I went
MPs.
for 14.
I did 23.
22.
Yeah,
22.
you're tracking good as well.
What did you
Both of you are
get?
tracking
14.
14.
well. And the
He's going to win. He's
final
gonna win on
question
this last question. It's
This
going to
one.
that
piss me
Fuck.
off.
fucks it all for every single one of you. How long? Big Ben, give us your
I think I
numbers.
did 115.
115,
350.
350,
80.
80. The answer is 150 years, giving you a grand total of 213.
He's back in the fucking game.
man like Abby Addy has tied it up. It's 4-4.
3-3.
Oh, 3-3. I beg your pardon.
Who came second?
You came second.
doesn't matter.
Thank you. I came second. You came
Jess
last.
came
Hold your
second.
silver then, innit, you clown.
Johnny gets bitter when he doesn't win.
Yeah, you lose.
But
that. I
well
came
done.
second.
Well, you got a very respectable score because the answer was 213.
147. I
147.
was not
Better
that
than
far
Johnny's 516 or
Yeah, what
whatever
the
he said.
fuck?
It was actually 389.
Yeah, 389. So, Abby Addy, congratulations, sir. This one was very good. 202 was your answer. 213
yeah.
was the real thing. Very, very close, mate.
We would not have passed though.
Yeah.
thank
You'd have-
fuck.
I'm staying in the country. I'm staying in the country. You motherfuckers are out.
Yeah.
I came
Pretty's
second. I came
on to
second.
me.
Deported Johnny back on a plane to Caracas.
Back to Venezuela.
But
I
as
don't
we,
even know if Caracas is in Venezuela.
Yeah, it's the capital still. Well
but
done.
as we wrap up, thank you very much to Jessica, Noah, Morgan
Amen.
for being here
Aw.
with us
Yes.
Appreciate you.
today.
Appreciate you
Thank
coming
you
down.
so
Thank
much
you.
for having me.
Thank you.
How was it?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? It's your first
Yeah.
proper podcast, really, wasn't it? Outside of
Yeah,
lockdown
it
and that.
was. Yeah, first in-person podcast.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Yeah, we'll have you back for sure.
I loved it,
at some
thank
point in
you.
the future.
Definitely.
To everybody else, you know where to find us. Actually, on that news,
Oh, come on.
we are now available as well as being on Spotify, YouTube,
If you're nasty.
SoundCloud, and what's the other one? Apple Podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
We are now also available on Amazon Music.
And
so
OnlyFans.
you can find us and OnlyFans.
And OnlyFans.
and OnlyFans.
You weren't meant to reveal that, but yeah.
Soon come. So check out for us, like, share, click, comment, send to your baby mama and all that. And we will see you here in 2 weeks, baby.
See you later.